Greetings, family. Hello, joyous rising. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night, depending upon where you're hailing from. Check in. I'm so happy to see everybody. This is Dr. Kia Pruitt. It is Wednesday, January the 17th, 2024, and the time is 12:20 p.m. Welcome to the 17th. Y'all know we love the 17 number. We love the 17th letter and what it represents in this movement to usher in the golden era. So welcome to Wellness Wednesday, to the 17th, to the portal being opening, to us elevating to our highest selves. Check in, family. Let us know where you're hailing from because we have an amazing guest today. He's in the back office. We'll introduce him in a few minutes, but I wanted to give you an opportunity to check in and let you all know that this is a very important time period. We are ending the Kali Yuga, which is the most degenerate, debaucherous era ever. And when you study ancient East Indian philosophies, you know that the planet or the earth, the multiverse even, goes through different cycles. So they say that there are 4 cycles, and the 4 cycles or eras were known as the Sata Yuga or the Krita Yuga. That's what we call the golden era and the age of Aquarius. So it started out with that yuga or with that age when God created the world, right? The second yuga or era is the Treta Yuga, and that was the Silver Age. The third yuga or age or cycle was known as the Dwapara, yes, I got it right, Yuga, and that was the Bronze Age. Well, then we had the most horrendous, debaucherous, degenerate age ever, the Kali Yuga, where we had war, destruction, violence, harmful things done to women, suppression of women, and suppression of the divine feminine. Then they switched it on us, and then they started oppressing and suppressing the men and using the women to suppress the men. And we had a lot of heinous things happening to our children, a lot of harvesting, a lot of hunting parties. I have to watch my words, a lot of war and destruction all over the planet. And what this did was it caused us to emit a psychic energy that we call loosh. Loosh is the energy that comes from being traumatized, afraid, having high anxiety, angst. And you will have that when you constantly hear of war, when your children go missing, when men and women are fighting each other, when different political parties, the red and the blue, are fighting against each other, when different countries and prelates and political leaders are fighting each other. We emit this psychic energy that would not elevate the planet, but cause us to devolve. And that energy is what these extraterrestrial beings fed off. They ate. So they sat down in or literally ate and absorbed that energy whenever we were traumatized. So this is the antithesis of what happens when you have positive energy. You're praising God, you're uplifted, you're happy, you're joyous, you're excited, your consciousness is elevated, right? You can feel that energy. And what they say in religious circles, especially if you grew up Pentecostal like I did, they say God inhabits the praises of his people. So they will tell you, say hallelujah, be thankful, be elevated in your gratitude. And when that happens, they say that the creator, the most high, sits down in your praise. He relishes it, and it expands him and it expands the universe and brings more joyous situations to you. Well, likewise, that's what happened when people emit psychic energy called loosh. Those beings that were enslaving the planet, they become emboldened. They eat it. They absorb that energy that we have. They didn't just eat organs and bodies and all that, children. They ate energy. So now that whole era has been decimated, or it's evolved into something else, we've entered into the Krita Yuga, or the golden era. And that occurred on January the 15th, according to ancient East Indian culture. So that's about it that I want to say about that. Since we are in the golden era, we have a phenomenal guest, the most amazing, magnificent Tony Vortex from the Meta Center Chicago. We're going to bring him right up, family. And introduce him to you all so you can see the gentleman that you all met last week, and also ask him your burning questions that you've been sending me. Okay, I don't know the answer to all your questions, but metaphysicians, they study like the beginning. They have a sense of knowing. They study herbs, plants. They meditate. They hear from the Most High in different ways. Their vibrations are elevated because of who they are and what they came here to do. This gentleman is constantly walking in his purpose. He studied under the great Dr. Delbert Blair, the master metaphysician that taught us about 5D, 5-dimension, and ascension of the planet, ascension of us as humanity. So welcome our great friend, Tony Vortex. Hi, Tony.
Greetings, greetings, Kia, and greetings, everyone. I hope everyone is doing well within your space and time.
Tony, thank you. If you don't mind, I would really like to read just a little bit about who you are. Is that okay?
That's fine. Mm-hmm.
Except for I lost it. I had your oh, here it is. So for our friends and family members who don't know Tony, he is a documented clinical herbalist. He is a scholar and engineer and more. At the age of 11, he began to study plant life and their healing properties because it bothered him deeply that so many people around him and family members were leaving this planet and getting needlessly sick. This is why Tony was one of the very few people that Dr. Delbert Blair truly trusted in and shared his ideas with and bounced off ideas and different modalities of how to address issues with. So one of his latest projects was collecting data from space. Yes, literally space. And we're going to talk about that a little bit because people claim that they've been to the moon. I don't know if that's true, but the guy who claimed to have been to the moon said that this is a leap for humans, but a giant step for humankind or mankind, letting us know that there might be a spectrum of humanity. Okay, human and humankind, man and mankind might be possibly two different things. So Tony collected space from data from space, and he says that atmospheric balloons were sent up into the mid stratosphere 30 to 35 miles above us. He lives in Illinois, and he said the Illinois launch was in July the 31st, 2021. Then there was a Georgia launch that occurred on September the 25th, 2021. This is one of the many reasons why Dr. Delbert Blair adored Tony. He's just so lovable. Look at that face. And he's so youthful because of the products that he takes. He's amazing, has a great spirit. He also personally cooks food for the hungry and the homeless. You got to love a gentleman like that. So for all the women out there and men out there that say, particularly women, there are no good men, I keep telling you, hang with your girl, Dr. Kia Pruitt. I have this vibration that attracts the most amazing, juicy, masculine men that love to provide, protect, and yes, my darlings, heal us. So Tony personally cooks food for people and he serves them out of his own kitchen. Tell me about a good man. Here he is. He's been doing this for the homeless for over 20 years. There's nothing new to those of you all that know him. You know that's about him. And over the last few years, others have even come out to assist in serving the food. Tony not only offers free things for the homeless, but he has some services that are free. Whatever God puts on his heart to offer to people who can't afford it, he does. This man is an amazing man. In addition to serving the homeless, he has on many occasions supplied computers and technologies to children and teenagers with no access to the basics of technology and to those who weren't able to access them through school. Tony is so passionate about helping others. I know, because he even called me and asked me, what is your overall physical condition like? So he can know how to address them. He's an amazing man. He does this for many people. This has been one of his top values since he was a child. And still on a daily basis, you can see the value reflected in the great work that this great man does. He serves quietly. So he's a very quiet man. He won't talk about all of his accolades, but I'm here to do it for him. And so are you. He's very quiet about what he does, but he serves with all of his heart because it's the correct thing to do, he says. He even hesitates about allowing other people to put certain things on his his website. He's just careful about what he puts out there because he doesn't want to take all the praise for what the creator has given him and what his mentor has shared with him. Those who see have seen this man to be a great man, an activist, a watchman, an herbalist, a metaphysician, an engineer, and such. So without any further ado, I just wanted to give you that brief introduction about this amazing gentleman who you have before you. I keep telling you, we have great people here to assist us in our ascension as we have entered the golden age. Now I'm quiet. Tony, the floor is yours, my darling.
Well, that was an intro for an intro now. Okay. So hopefully I could live up to that today. All right. So we have a lot to speak on, but first I'd like to give thanks to Dr. Kia's audience, who after our last session about a month ago or so, many of you gave us a call at the Meta Center, and we've had some brief conversations and things of that nature. And it was a pleasure hearing from those who did call. And so I do appreciate that. I like to hear what's going on with people across the world, and many of you did call and share that. So I do appreciate that. So shout out to all of you all, and I hope everyone is doing well within your space and time. And if you're not, hopefully in this conversation today, we can, bring some balance to a lot of that.
Yeah, and I think it's important that we actually let people know that you do have a whole center from which you operate called the Meta Center. Yes.
That is correct. We're here in Chicagoland area, right outside of Chicago, Oak Lawn. This is where we do a lot of our services. So a lot of our wellness services. We do train, because of course I am a STEM professional. So science, technology, engineering, math. So people may come in for training with that. Again, wellness, people could buy. We do have a lot of products on display. So probably about 100 or so herbs on display, covering all the major traditional Chinese medicine, Western herbs, and Ayurvedic. And so we're here if you need us.
Yes, they're here. We'll pull up his website shortly. And if you are interested in going to or ordering any of his products or services from the website, make sure you use the discount code DRKIA 2024. That's Dr. Kia 2024. I'll put it in the chat so that you can get a discount. And we made sure you got the best discount we made sure you got the highest amount of discount that you could get so that you can be serviced and you can order as many products as you like. So Tony, I've explained that we have entered into the age of Aquarius, the golden era. And when you came on our podcast, you talked to us about some products that could help us in our ascension process, to aid in our elevation, to help activate the crown chakra. And from those conversations, we talked about sovereignty and how sovereignty means that you have rule, and that's what Sav means. No, reign. Reign means rule and control. Sav means over. So you have rule and control over your life. People have been asking me, is sovereignty something that's like just given to us? Is it your birthright? What is a birthright? Why you keep talking about sovereignty, that I have control over my life when I've been enslaved for generations? Not only like so-called African Americans, but the whole planet has been enslaved. So can you just talk about sovereignty and birthright from your perspective and what that means to you, and how we can maybe just realize that we are actually sovereign beings. We have control over our lives. However you choose to answer that question.
Okay. All right. So that is a heavy subject. And so I'm going to try to give it its care that's needed. So, okay. So first, let's, a lot of times when birthright is explained, it's explained in a way that kind of leaves it a bit ambiguous. Okay. So it's kind of out there in space, and we can't really bring it here to earth and how that relates to us. Okay. So I'm going to give some examples of how a birthright, how it's taken away in the modern context. Okay. So this is a third dimensional perspective, right? So we can all see this, right? So for example, let's say here in the US, since I take it most of us are here in the US, let's say our grandparents, right? Our grandparents, let's say after the last collapse of society, the rebuilding of society to what we know it is today, right? So there are certain corporations that rose up during that time. right? And
Okay.
in those large corporations, it wasn't like mom and pop businesses and stuff like that weren't really around in that time. Okay.
Okay.
So our grandparents, great grandparents, great great grandparents, so on and so forth, they work for these very large corporations, right?
Mhm.
And or made them large over time by giving forth their energy for this purpose, right?
Absolutely.
So in that, it's almost a social let's say social contract was created. Okay.
Okay.
And some examples of what a social contract means is that it's kind of like the subconscious agreement culturally to adhere to certain customs, right? So, for example, let's say dress code, right?
Mhm.
We understand that, let's for example, at work, if you work a 9 to 5 in a corporate environment, you're not going to walk around as if you're at a strip club for a man or a woman, okay? Either or, right?
Right.
This is a subconscious social agreement, right?
Okay.
Also, for example, especially here in America, we have queue lines, right? If we're lining up to buy a ticket, let's say at the movie theater or it may be, we line up, all right? And it's
Mhm.
part of that social contract that or custom that people are not going to just cut in front of you is first come, first serve kind of thing, right?
Right.
So the social contract was our, let's say, great 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 grandparents work for these corporations, let's say, and we built them up. And so, but why? Just to build them up, just to eventually, let's say, leave here of old age and so on and so forth. Let me. So leave here old age and so on and so forth. No, the social construct was that maybe down the line, if my grandchildren, great grandchildren need employment, let's say, right, and this major corporation is still around, that they would have, for example, somewhere to work, right? But what ended up happening? So our this energy, this massive amount of energy, was put forth to build up these very large corporations. And what did they do? They then moved their bases off overseas and so on and so forth, right? And
Mhm.
gave
Mhm.
those, let's say, those jobs, right, that were meant for the grandchildren, great grandchildren of those who helped build it, right? Now
Mhm.
they've been given to other people, right?
Mhm.
Other than the people who they were, let's say, socially in that social contract were supposed to be given to, right? So
Mhm.
how many of us um, pick up the phone and we call local, so-called local businesses, and you're talking to someone in either Mexico or in India somewhere,
Yes.
right? So,
Often.
so, right. So these are jobs that were meant for actually you and I.
Mm.
Okay. So if you needed something right now, many right now are unemployed or underemployed.
Yes, sir.
Okay. And so these would be the jobs that you could easily just pretty much walk into and it's almost guaranteed for you. Okay.
Mm.
But that has been stolen from the
Yeah,
people.
right.
Right. Right. So that's one way that a birthright can be stolen.
Mm.
In another way is, for example, right, let's talk about immigration, right? Immigration is a sensitive issue in these times, right? But we're not taking the Democrat or Republican perspective in this, right? We're just talking
Okay.
about from the birthright perspective. So
Okay.
someone, so you, because the government, to say first off, doesn't have any money. All right, where does the
Mm.
money of the government come from? Right, it comes from us, okay,
Mm.
through taxation and so on and so forth. That's where the money of the government comes from. Where all of your municipalities that you have around you,
Yeah.
all of your county and state governments, federal government, their money comes from us. Okay,
Mm.
so with that, let's say a bunch of people are coming here that did not go through the process to make them here, let's say legally, right? So when they come here, then that means that they, in most cases, are going to take from the system in some form or fashion, okay, whether it be education, medical care, whatever it may be, right? And
Okay.
so that ends up, so first off, that's taking from you, right? Because again, the government doesn't have any money. The money is your money, right? So
Mhm.
that, regardless if we agree with that or not, the money is being taken from you for this person who did not even come here to legally, let's say, right?
Right. Right.
And then later on in life, they end up becoming your competition as well, right?
Mhm.
It takes from
Yeah.
you even more, right? So because
Right.
remember, this is a generational thing, right? We have to think a
Yes.
little bit, a few steps ahead, right?
Okay.
So it may not be today, it may not be tomorrow, right? But eventually, those people are going to have, let's say, children, and those people are going to have children, so on and so forth, and they're going to become a direct competition to your children.
Yes.
And so that means that overall, over time, is less resources, okay,
Mm.
and it brings down the collective energetic output, okay,
Mm.
or the energy that we are supposed to receive in the form of currency, okay, it brings that down. So now, because of so much competition and so many people clawing for that same job, let's say, instead of making $1,000 a month, let's say now you make $250 a month,
Yeah.
okay, and you're clawing for it, right? So there's many ways that our birthright can be siphoned off. Okay. And let
Mhm.
me give you one more example. All right. Just
Okay.
so it's overstood here. Right.
Okay.
Many of us shop on the major platforms. I'm not going to name them. Okay. But there's a few major platforms of shopping that people shop at. There's one that typically is good for more used goods and stuff like that. Right.
Mhm.
There's
Mhm.
one that, of course, all of us know of. We get packages, one, 2, 3 days from the time of order, right? And
Right.
and there's one that is known for more custom oriented goods. So
Okay.
at first, most of these platforms all started off with Americans. Okay, that's how they started off, right? Where all the goods or most of the goods on these platforms were those of someone in America or in the Western world was selling it. Okay, but now when you look at these platforms, you find it inundated with foreigners, with people. Most of the time you'll be hard pressed to find American companies, unless you know their
Mhm.
name directly, American goods being sold on these platforms.
That's
Most of
right.
these platforms, even such like they say, like even like Walmart, for example, that's what many say, that most of the goods in there are from, let's say, Chinese producers. Okay,
Mm.
so with that, if what I'm saying is actually true, and mostly all these platforms now are pretty much outlets for foreign enterprise, that
Mm.
means that they're also taking your birthright or taking your
Mm.
resources, because those resources are now, instead of someone in America, let's say, or within your greater community receiving those resources, and what are they going to do? They're going to buy other things from other people within the greater community, right?
Mm.
And so,
Yes.
so it recycles. Okay. So instead of it recycling in that way, now it's going off into foreign hands. Now, this is
Mhm.
not anything against foreign people. I mean, everybody wants to make money, right? And they
Right.
see an
Right.
opportunity to get money from us, right? Or in the form
Right.
of our energetic output that we call money or currency. So, but now that currency is almost uh, it's very military like and warlike, right?
Mhm.
Where this is taken from us and then it's extracted and taken to, again, foreign lands, right? And so
Mhm.
we don't see that reciprocation of what we would typically see in previous times.
Right.
So moving on to sovereignty, there are many entities out there that would have you fill out forms and stuff like that, right? For
Mhm.
sovereignty, right? You want to be sovereign,
Yeah.
you got to fill out some forms, right? At a price of $1,000, whatever they're going to do, right? And
Mhm.
send these forms to all types of entities, the government entities out there, right? Who knows what they're
Mhm.
doing, and everything else, so on and so forth, right? And many people have went those routes, and you will find them at your local prison, right?
Yeah. Yep.
So when it
Yep.
comes to sovereignty, sovereignty starts within the heart, right? It starts
Mm.
with who you are first and foremost, and so on and so forth, right? So
Wow.
let's give an example here. Are you in control of your thoughts? Okay. Let's
Mm.
just start there. Are your thoughts your thoughts? Okay. Or are your thoughts something that you maybe have seen on TV? All right. Or they come from the latest movie that you watch.
Mm.
Right. And so even in that sense, that means that your mind is not sovereign to you. Okay, it's really
Okay.
something else or someone else at that point, right? So we want to be a sovereign being first and foremost. Before we even look even outside of ourselves, we want to be a whole being inwardly and internally ourselves, right?
Mhm.
Whether it be our own thoughts and our own actions and so on and so forth, right? And not whether it be this being this whole being, whether it be again from the movies, from social media, right? Us being just a duplicator of what we're seeing and hearing there, or let's say in other senses, excuse me, making noises here, but in other senses, um, what other entities may control us, right? That may not be human at all, right? Because
Right.
we're not sovereign in control of ourselves, we give up the ability to be that kind of being. That's why when people drink and so on and so forth, they call it spirits, right? And so
Mm.
time when people drink, they become something else other than who or what they are, right? Like there's
Yes.
many people that I grew up with who would drink, and then all of a sudden they become this macho man, right? And start picking fights with people and stuff like that. And it's like, why are you doing that? You know what I'm saying? They acting completely different than what they are and how they act on a normal basis, right?
Mm.
So almost in a way, they gave up their sovereignty, right?
Okay.
To
Oh.
and now something else said, okay, well, if you're going to give it up, then I'm going to use it. Okay, I'm going to take advantage of that, right? And
Mhm.
so now, when we have complete control of ourselves in our actions, we are more mindful of our words because words have power and they mean so much, right? And
Mhm.
so words can build or destroy, right? So we take more responsibility again of ourselves, of our mind, right? How we think. Okay. And if one has trouble with that, there are resources like the Meta Center. We have a plethora of services and
Mhm.
everything else. Again, some of them are completely free. They don't cost you anything to start that process
Yeah.
of getting our mind right. Right.
Mhm.
Then it becomes our actions, right? Because our what's truly in our mind would be eventually displayed within our actions, right?
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
we have our mind right. We over time, if it wasn't right, we get that to align with our true self and our actions, which in turn means that we are, again, it doesn't mean you can't sing, you can't dance, you can't go out and enjoy yourself, or they say turn up, right? You can't turn up. Okay.
Right.
But it's more just a respectful, responsible turn up, right? Instead of just being
Right.
just out here wild, right? And so eventually it leads to then eventually bleeding, or let's say moving out to, or running, that river is running now outside of us, where those we come in contact with feel at maybe at peace when they're around you because you're at peace finally inside of yourself, right?
Right.
The environments that you create when people come into medicine, or one thing they can continually and constantly say is that it's really, really, really relaxing. Okay, almost like being at home. Okay, and that was intentional. We purposely uh, created it to be that way,
Your
right?
voice is that way too, very relaxing. You feel at home when you hear you speak. Your intonation is calm. Yeah. It matches the energy of what you do and of the Meta Center.
And that's intentional. Okay, not that I'm intentionally making my voice this way. Is that it just comes from just really.
Mm.
We all have ups and downs. Let's put it like that. We all go
Mm.
through ups and downs, but really
Right.
learning what those ups were about, and also
Mm.
learning from those downs, right? And just
Mm.
trying to be the best that you can be. I mean, who wants to stress? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Who wants to?
Yeah.
Only a fool will want to stress. Only a fool will want to purposely cause themselves uh, just trouble in life, right?
Yes.
And
Yeah.
so what I would say to anyone here, if you are going through some troubles in life, and you don't know, and it's not purposeful, right? This is kind of this actions you're doing now. From hindsight, you may understand that you shouldn't have done it, but as you're going through it, it's just creating obstacles for yourself that doesn't need it. Maybe we offer 30-minute free consultations. Okay.
Mm.
Again, we have tons of services on the website. We offer crystal bowl meditation completely for free here at the medicine. You can just come lay on the floor. We have mats and covers and all that stuff. You come lay on the floor and truly relax, right? That
Mm.
can kind of help that process start to run its course, right? Because the times we are right now are a bit stressful for people, even if someone is making really good money, right? Everybody thinks about
Yes.
money, right? So even if someone's making really, really good money, and so that aspect of their life is going good, they're still stressed the heck out. Because remember,
Yes.
we're not an island to ourselves, right?
Mm.
We are an island amongst a whole bunch of other islands,
Right. Right.
right? And so we do feed off of the energy and exchange energy with everybody around us, right? We all have family, we have friends, and so on and so forth. And if we really do care about them, if they are stressed the heck out, even if we're not, we feel that and we take that on.
Yes.
So
Yes. Yeah. So, Tony, when you talk about sovereignty and having rule, reign, and control of your own life, you're also talking about not just your ailments and your health and well-being, but you and I talked about something else last night, and you were talking about taking control over your food. That was
most
amazing.
definitely.
Can you talk a little bit about how we can take control over our food and not depend upon the food that is given to us that cause us to become sick?
Most definitely. So, all right. So many years ago at this point, let's say it was about 8 years ago, um, when we started to see what this new meta center is going to be like after Dr.
Mhm.
Blair had ascended,
Yes.
um, we one of the things that we put on the website immediately was seeds.
Mm.
And because we were projecting forward into the future and just seeing how things would be, right? And so many of those who are part of the Meta Center who are in your audience right now could attest to this. I would say, hey, I think people should just buy seeds, right? So, but not just to buy them, but it's because if it really come down to the come down,
Mhm.
one in a grid down scenario, what is extremely important is water and food. Okay,
Okay.
water, food, and shelter. Okay, those
Mhm.
are the three extremes that are extremely important. How much money you have, even for example, if it's a grid down scenario, there's no fresh fruit anywhere, fresh vegetables anywhere, and so on and so forth, right? And somehow you're able to grow fresh fruit and vegetables, right? Not the GMO stuff, right? Heirloom, the original stuff, right? Full of
Oh.
seeds, right? And and it's no in the world is kind of desolate. There's not really a whole lot out there, and someone comes to you with a truck full of money and says, here, they would be willing to give you that for that water. You can give you that for those
Mhm.
seeds and so on and so forth, right?
Mhm.
Because food becomes more important than what that third dimensional concept of currency or money that we were so obsessed with, right? And
Yeah.
in fact, you may not even give it up for that. If someone brings you a truck full of money at one time, you may have given your life for that. But now you say, no what, I'd rather have my cantaloupe than have that.
Oh yeah, Tony, I'm a gold and silver proponent. I'm an affiliate with the gold and silver company. But when you were talking to me last night, you were saying it's wonderful to have, gold and silver as well. Just imagine though that there was a power down, a grid down situation, and you didn't have water. I was like, oh my God, I would give up. I'm seriously, silver,
Most definitely.
gold, fiat, anything to drink water so I can live or to eat well so I could live. So thank you so much for just making this a reality for us.
Most definitely. Sometimes we have to, again, that's that whole going way out into space etherically or
Yeah.
spiritually, right? We could go way out into space with these concepts
Yeah.
and we lose our tether to the foundation, to
Mm,
the earth, of what things we should be thinking about, right? Because think
yes.
about, again, we're humans, right? It's okay to be human. It's okay to express ourselves, right? To express our triumphs and also express those things that may not have been so good with us. Okay.
Mm,
It's okay to, I guarantee you right now on the line, there's some elders, right? Let's say
mm,
those who are 65 and above, right? Male or female, right?
mhm.
Who, when they were younger, when they think back from time to time, because I'm sure at that age, there's a lot of thinking back at times, right?
Mm,
Over
mhm.
life.
Yeah.
And I guarantee that as they look over certain situations in life that they have went through and certain maybe rashness had happened between, just being like, if it's saying canceling out friends and family, right? Or
Mhm.
over arguments and things of that nature, right? Being distant and not talking to someone anymore.
Yes.
And in many cases, when they look back, I guarantee that at this point, they feel that maybe they should have handled it differently.
Hmm.
And maybe it wasn't as serious as it seemed to be. Maybe I should have been a little bit more understanding. Maybe I should not, even though maybe a situation that really was a situation that made me angry,
Yeah.
maybe it should not have been to the point where it led to uh, the complete dissolving of a relationship that I've known over a long period of time, kind of thing, right?
Yes. Yes.
And
Yes.
so um, this is so much. This is so much. I kind of pause for one because so many thoughts are coming through right now. And when I think about these kind of scenarios, right?
Yeah.
But overall, when it comes to kind of lost my point too, because
That's okay,
I kind
darling.
of got lost in thought right there for a
Yeah.
moment.
It's
Okay,
okay.
okay. So mhm,
I haven't even reached the 65, 70-year-old age,
mhm,
but I am in my middle ages. I'm a woman of a certain age. And I find myself reflecting back on relationships that, I could have worked on a little harder, um, apologies I should have made earlier, accountabilities that I need to take. And I've actually gone to those people and say, you know what? I'm sorry for what I did or said. I take accountability for my part in the breakdown of our communication or the dissolving of our relationship. Will you please forgive me? How can I make it better? And it just makes you feel more relaxed, and it makes you feel like, um, when you pass away, if you know about the principles of Mayat, and they say you pass away and your heart would be weighed on the scales of Mayat, you want your heart to be light as a feather. I think about that now at the age I want my heart to be light as a feather, not just when I pass or transition, but right now. And so I take accountability, and I've found myself, since I'm reflecting on the things I've done in the past that I could have done better, going and making amends, to your point that it happens. Yeah.
100%. And this is about being human, right? It's again, it's
Right.
okay to be human. We have society has become, as we talked about a month ago, again, this anti-human, this alien. These aliens have taken over the world, right? In their creations, they create these aliens, create anti-humans, and so on
Mm,
and so forth. And so we are moving further and further away from true human expression.
yeah.
Okay. So
Yeah.
whether it be expression again in song and sing and song and dance, okay, whether it be expression in the arts, music, paintings, and so on and so forth,
Mhm.
whether it be just expressing just how a person feels.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And that's demonized. And we've seen over the
Mm,
last 3 years, people have been canceled just
yeah.
because they express
Mm,
human feelings.
mm,
Okay.
yeah.
So that's become ever more important in these times, right? For people
Yeah.
to be that, okay, to be human and so on and so forth. And I employ all of you who are listening to practice being more human. You'll be surprised
Mhm.
how the world can change for the better.
Okay.
We are imbued, okay, the template that we are based on, that was in us. If you are a human, then you are imbued with you have a soul, right?
Yeah.
And this soul is what the aliens, right? And that they're so angry about because it
Mm,
allows you. Humans are one of the few beings who
okay.
have the potential. They have two worlds almost imbued within them, right? The potential
Okay.
for heaven or the potential for hell. Okay.
Okay.
We have the ability to express both, right? And many beings are just one dimensional, right? They are here to, let's say,
Mm,
serve a purpose a certain way. Okay. And that's all the purpose or all the expression that they can ever express. Okay.
wow.
With
Okay.
with us as humans, we have a very vast range of expression.
Mm,
Okay.
mhm.
Uh, on this platform, does it allow you to have like a whiteboard or anything like that? Do
I
you
don't
know?
know. I have no idea.
Okay. Okay. Because I
Um,
want to show something, but
I mean, we can share a screen. I mean, you can send me something, or you can share a screen. Is
okay.
that what you
Okay.
mean?
Well, I want to. Well, we'll figure it out by next time. We'll figure it out.
Okay. Well, but I want you to share whatever it is you wanted to share.
So let me see here if I can do it this way. So to make it as simple as possible here, let's say I'm gonna get a pen real quick.
Okay, take your time. I'll read some of the comments. Thank you so much, family, for joining us today. Isn't this an amazing podcast where Tony's going to talk about more about our sovereignty and share some of the products and seeds that he offers at the Meta Center? I'm grateful that you are joining us here as we're going into, or we've actually entered into the golden era. So, Ms. Daniels says, as always, thank you, Dr. Kia Pruitt, for educating and enlightening the masses. We the people got it. Thank you also, Tony, for all that you contribute to society. Namaste.
Appreciate that. So what I'm gonna do here, I'm just gonna draw something. It's gonna be very simple at this time anyway. And
Okay.
so I'm sure you all will be able to follow. Okay.
Okay.
So
They're saying your voice is so soothing, Tony.
okay. I'm glad you all think so. Yeah. Yeah. Let's soothe into these higher thought forms.
He's shy, y'all. He likes when you give him compliments, but he doesn't show that, too much expression. You see how humble he is. Such a good man.
So what I'm going to do here first, and we're going to work on this image here, right? We're going
Okay.
to over time, right? So we can. So here's an image here. You should be able to see. Okay. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
So okay. So this is the, let's say, the vastness of human expression. Okay, this is this
Okay.
line here. Okay,
Okay.
past a certain point, a human is really no longer human, and we can
Mm.
have ideas of a God's mind, let's say, or a God's mind plural. We can have ideas of this, but as a human, we can't really conceptualize the wholeness of what a God thinks, right? Because it's beyond our mind, right?
Okay.
And on the opposite side, we had the opposite kind of more debaucherous or more demonic things and stuff like that
Mhm.
also. But with that, this is the range of human possibility, right? It can go to the lower nature over here, right? Or it can go to the higher nature, right? So
Okay.
this area here, very close to the line where you can start getting to that God's mind,
Yes.
those are where entities of lore and myth come from, right?
Mm.
So, so to give you an example of that, uh, uh, let's say Hercules. Okay,
Mhm.
you have Shango, right?
Mhm.
You have Thor. Is you have these characters that are human, okay, but
Mhm.
are have reached a state where they're almost to the point where, or they can threaten kind of, or they have godlike abilities and they could do those kind of godlike things, right? And
Yes.
so, but most humans are somewhere in here, right?
Mm.
It's
Okay.
somewhere in this area here, right?
Okay.
And
Mm.
so, as humans, part of our ability is the ability to care, show empathy, and so on and so forth, right? Because again, humans range. Like over here, for example, you have more of the debaucherous behavior that, let's say, most humans wouldn't like to be
Mhm.
around or to deal with, right?
Okay.
But that is still part of the human experience, right? And sometimes some of
Yes.
us may find ourselves kind of outside here or there. So now with that, for example, we can even in our expression of being human, we can even put our expressions in this, right?
Mm.
So for example, we have what's called an extrovert and introvert, right?
Yes. Yes.
The aliens want everybody overall to be extroverted, right? They don't like the quiet
Mhm.
thinker, okay? Because the quiet thinker ponders and create possibilities that the aliens don't want, okay? The extroverted person, of course, it doesn't mean they don't think, but they're typically extroverted and they want to be in front of the camera. They want to do more expressive things, right?
Yes.
And so in that human, so here's that area here, right? So now let's take away just the God and the demon stuff, right? So kind of
Okay.
ignore that. We're
Okay.
going to look at introverted and extroverted, okay? So
Okay.
in the human field here, okay, these are the levels of being introverted and extroverted. Let's say over here is extreme extroversion. Okay, if I made up that word, so we'll go with that.
Okay.
Okay, and over here is extreme being, make sure, yeah, being introverted. Okay,
Okay.
this is the person who's like the recluse or the hermit who doesn't come out from the forest at all. The
Okay.
person over here is what you see on social media. Again, these are extremes. What you
Mhm.
see on social media, the type of person's doing pranks and
Mm.
even causing people harm
Yeah.
just for likes and followers. Okay,
Mhm.
not even for money, just for likes and followers, just to be looked at as that person, right?
Okay.
But most people are in the center. So in this is like
Mhm.
the center here. Most
Yes.
people expression is somewhere around that, right?
Okay.
And so I'm showing this in a way, and the reason why I'm showing this is because in a time we need to be a bit less judgmental of people's what people are expressing or experiencing,
Mm.
right? Sometimes, yes, we have a mind and we should show discernment when it comes to the world around us. But sometimes that discernment turns to harsh judgment.
Okay.
And that harsh judgment leads to anti human behavior that none of us would
Mhm.
ideally want to happen to us directly, right?
Right.
Everyone is on their journey. And in this journey, it can lead to magnificent possibilities, right?
Yes. Yes.
So, because who knows what's in your journey that what you would do, which would lead to better circumstances for all of us,
Mm.
right? And so going back to what we talked about concerning, for example, the seeds, right? So about 2 years ago, on the Meta Center channel, because of what was taking place around us, people were scared and so on and so forth. I created a hydroponic setup. For those who don't know, hydroponics is, let's say, growing indoors with water and pumps and lights. Okay, and to show people that within us, there's always the ability to, we can surprise ourselves sometime if we just sit back instead of dwelling in the worry, but instead dwelling in what can possibly be, right? Using our imagination, right? The aliens don't have an imagination either. That's also a gift from our creator, right? Imagination, our ability to persevere, even when every single door says it won't happen, okay? Our ability for hope, right? To hope for something, even if all the circumstances say this is not going to happen, period. Okay. We could say, we could use all the data points and all the data says this is 100% not going to happen, right? But yet we still feel truly within us that there is a possibility and we work toward that possibility. That scares the hell out of an alien.
Really?
100%. Okay. That scares the hell out of these types of consciousness, right? So what we did was we took the same heirloom seeds that we sell on the website, and we took about the size of a closet and grew about enough food to be able to feed about a family of 4. Okay, within a super small space, right? We had sprouts growing, we had lima beans, we had arugula, we had kale, and so on and so forth, to not just show what can be done, but to show that many of your minds are brilliant, right? But you kind of crush that brilliance, or you bring it down levels when you worry. Instead of worrying, we should be using that energy to come up with new possibilities and new strategies to move forward. And instead of creating more of those scenarios that bring us down and cause confusion and irritation and so on and so forth, because you can do it 100%. I know it's 100% fact. I've been studying humans. I've been studying humans and our abilities, okay, for decades, right? And really seeing why humans act the way they do, seeing how these aliens act, and what are they really scared of? Because what they really are trying to stop us from expression, it must be expressing, it must be some type of power within that, right? So I kind of rambled on for a while.
No. So let me ask you a question, Tony. So you were talking about humans. So are there some beings that are actually on the planet that don't have a soul?
Yes.
Okay. And those beings, do they come from other places?
I would say other spaces.
Other spaces. Okay.
Okay. Within this space. Okay. They would want you to think that they came from some star system somewhere else. Okay. But many of them are earthbound, let's just say. Okay. And because they're so angry, okay, they are just trying to destroy everything around us. Right. And so they're liars by their nature. Okay. And even Cat Williams recently, many of us have heard of what has happened with Cat Williams, right? He said something very, very specific. He said that Satan, let's say, I'm ad-libbing here because I'm not going word for word, but overall, Satan itself cannot create blessings for his minions or his followers, right? So meaning by that, he has to take or trick, using trickery or so on and so forth, take the blessings for those who are able to bring forth blessings, which are humans who are gifted with that soul ability to do such, right? So instead of, because he can't create opportunities or blessings, he has to steal opportunities and blessings.
Okay.
Okay. It's almost like in a way that the government itself doesn't make any money. Okay. It's our money.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So and through taxation, let's say, okay, regardless if we think taxation is a good thing or a bad thing, okay, through taxation or through taking of, someone could say, birthright, or through taking of our energy that we're producing, that thing could be utilized for whatever purpose, good or bad. Okay. So it's very, very simple, where it's minions, because these aliens, let's say, right, they are unable to create true blessings, true opportunities, and so on and so forth. It spends its time, and also with the help of the anti-humans, okay, they spend their time coming up with new creative ways to figure out ways to take from the output that comes forth from your internal vortex,
Wow.
okay, which is from, let's say, God, the spirit that's pouring forth from you.
Okay. Hmm. You, when speaking of vortex, I remember you saying that we have to make sure our internal vortex spins correctly. That was the first time I had ever heard about that. Are you talking about when you say internal vortex, that part of us that makes us human?
The Let's just say that we have energy centers in the body, right?
Right.
So we have energy centers within us. Some of them match up with the meridian points, and there's other ones as well.
Okay.
And these energy centers have a let's say a vortexian spin. They have a spin,
Mhm.
or we could even call them chakra centers and stuff like that,
Okay.
right? Which have a
Okay.
spin, right?
Okay.
And so our main chakra center or spinning area is in our sternum, okay, kind of in
Mm.
our upper stomach area, right?
Okay.
And so we want to make sure that we are spinning in a way, spinning correctly is doing deeds and things that do not tear down our various bodies, okay,
Mhm.
whether it be our physical body, our mental body, emotional, or spiritual. Okay. We want to be doing actions and so on and so forth that help to promote a proper
Mhm.
spin. Okay. And so we know this just because of not only resonation, okay, how just because bad things happen to a person doesn't mean that person is bad, but at the same time, when you are when your spin is spinning how it should be and you're resonating out into the world around us a certain way, that what comes forth to you tends to be more of those things aligned with what your
Mhm.
thoughts and purpose are. Okay.
Okay.
So many times, because of people's actions, or sometimes it's not even knowing, they're creating obstacles or for
Mhm.
themselves where it makes it so that they are not spinning as fluidly as they should, right?
Okay.
Or how some get corrupted and it spins the opposite way. And so
Mhm.
the
Mhm.
anti-humans spin in the opposite way. Okay.
Okay.
Those are
Okay.
those that, for example, um, some of you may have experienced this in your life where you come up with an idea, or you bring, it could be at work, could be even amongst family or friends, whatever it may be. You come up with an idea that is, let's say, perfect, it's perfectly sound, helps everybody here, and everybody's able to move forward. But then you have this one person who will argue you down to do the opposite of that.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And if you were to really examine the opposite of that, it does not serve anyone per se, or it causes
Mhm.
more irritation, so on and so forth. These are these anti-human type of entities.
Mhm.
Okay. And so I would tell you, in the world around us, some people think for some reason or another that there's not going to be any challenges in life. Right. And so they think that just because they are spinning a certain way, right? They think just because they're having proper thought forms, right? They worked on their thought forms, their mind is good, right? They don't watch this nonsense on social media,
Mhm.
okay, to infiltrate their mind. They are careful of the movies they watch, because
Mhm.
they know that there are dark magicians, anti-humans, and alien concepts that are put into these movies to purposely infiltrate your brain, your
Right.
mind, let's say your mind, not your brain, but your mind, to plant seeds to eventually flourish in confusion, right?
Mhm.
So one protected themselves and all that good stuff, right? One is actually exercising, right? Because
Okay.
we have to make sure that our physical body is operating the way it should. More than
Mm.
anything else, cardio is extremely important. Many of you all should be just be outside, at the very least, outside, just walking around. You know,
Okay.
maybe do, let's say, a mile a day. At the very least, you want to be sweating a little bit. So when you're through, you want to be walking at a proper pace, to the point that when you're through walking, you have sweated. Okay. So, which is excretion, which we'll get into the whole
Mm.
stuff over the last 2, 3 years,
Mhm. I'm
and
looking forward to that discussion.
the ways to kind of get rid,
Mhm.
help with that. Um, so exercise, we should exercise as well, right? And so all these activities help us become the just the ideal version of ourselves, right?
Mm.
So talking about excretion, that was one of the comments that Kia had said that many people just kept asking for, whether it was made to happen or they did it for whatever reason. Okay. So let's talk about just the way the body is, right? The body is this biotechnology that
Okay.
our souls and embedded in with this consciousness that we have, right?
Mhm.
It's absolutely amazing. It's simple, but at the same time extremely complex, right?
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
so, but we have layers and layers of protection
Okay.
uh, that's purposely there to protect us from foreign invaders, okay? Whether these invaders are parasites, fungi, bacteria, or viruses, right?
Yes.
And so
Yes.
when we talk about our skin, for example, our skin has a few main layers, right? It's
Okay.
the epidermis, right? The dermis and the hypodermis, okay? And so epidermis would be like your top layer, the dermis would be the main middle layer, and then the hypodermis, let's say, would be the bottom layer, okay? And so ideally these protection mechanisms, or not ideally, these protection mechanisms are there for a reason.
Mhm.
Okay. So if we were to look at any type of mechanism that bypasses that, okay, whether we want it or not, what we find is that many of the challenges that we face in life, especially later on in life, could be brought back to those initial bypassing of our protections. Okay.
Okay.
Because by any means necessary, meaning the anti-humans, but especially the aliens, by any means want
Mhm.
to bypass the human protections. Okay. Our biotechnology. Right.
Okay.
And so, and so with that, what we find is that when we, let's just say, do an example of like gasoline, right? So let's say if someone has some gasoline, they injected themselves with it, okay, and we know this for a fact. That's what they did, right? And so if this person started to
Mhm.
experience certain types of challenges later in life, whether it be 10 years, 20 years, 30 years later, we would say that is more than likely from what you did that time ago, injecting that within you, right? And of course, we could look at the contradictions. I'm going to send you a link here.
So,
Keith,
so Tony,
go
just
ahead.
to clarify, are you talking about what happened in 2020?
Yes.
Okay, the sickness or the so-called cure? Right now, we're talking about the
What
problem. This
both in a way, but more so
okay.
the so-called remedy
Remedy. Okay.
to that.
Okay.
Okay, so
Thank you for addressing that because, like you said, that's something that many people have asked me to present to you.
and because of that, I want to make sure that I address that at
Okay.
least the way that I can. So
You're going to
uh,
send it to my phone or computer, darling?
I'm going to send to your computer more than
Okay.
likely here.
Okay.
Okay, so
So as you all know, the whole world was shut down, and we have to be careful about the words that we use as it relates to that on, especially on YouTube. But the whole world was shut down because of what they injected into our reality, and that sickness. And then as a result of that, they presented a remedy. And that's something they always do in 3D realities and especially during the Kali Yuga period, is they'll present a problem and then a remedy. And the remedy doesn't usually offset the problem. It makes the problem worse or exasperates the problem. So Tony is going to talk to us about, um, I guess, how we can address that, why it happened and how we can address it.
all right. So what I'm bringing up now is, for example, the contradictions of just a certain one. Okay, just
Okay.
so that the audience can see exactly. Let's see here. So this may take up just a slight moment here.
A saint the God says Dr. Vortex needs to be protected. Absolutely, we must protect him at all costs because he's sharing very valuable information and he has been given technologies and remedies for some of these problems that many of us have been facing psychologically, emotionally, physically, and spiritually. So we are very grateful that the Creator has given him to us.
And thank you for the kind words. Those are kind words there. So,
You're welcome, my darling.
all right. So what I'm going to do here,
Peace.
all right, let's see here.
Paz y amor, beloved humanity. Yes, peace and love to you too, Brother Andre and Mexam Bay. I see you, family, while Tony's doing that. Hello, Sister Beth from Louisiana. Hi, Sister Stevens. Good morning, Margarita. Almond Cookie says, actually, outsourcing our jobs should be prohibited when there are people in this country that are unemployed. Absolutely. Sending their love to you, Tony.
Appreciate that, everyone. Okay, so what we're talking about here, we're going to talk about the side effects. Okay, so that's what we're going
Okay.
to talk about. So, all right. And those things of nature,
Hmm.
typically the remedy can be found in nature. If the
Okay.
remedy for something cannot be found in nature, again, this is just from my own STEM background. Okay, this is not necessarily what they're saying, but this is from my own STEM background, my own analysis of what I see. Okay,
STEM being science. What else?
STEM being science, technology, engineering, and math.
Okay.
Okay, and so, so what I'm going to send you, I'm going to send you a link
Okay.
here. So let's see here. I'm putting it in the chat here.
Oh, you put in the chat. Okay. Oh, I see it in a private chat.
And so this is going to be for the
Mhm.
rotavirus vaccine. Okay. And so, again, the one thing that I do like in a way, whether this is humans doing this,
Mhm.
um, whether it be some type of universal principle, right, to obfuscate judgment, right?
Mhm. Mhm.
And what I mean by that is that the latest episode of what took place the last 2-3 years was a little bit different. Okay, even though they made it so ridiculous, like you, as we've seen back then, they were saying, "Here, come get these burgers and fries. You get a free burgers and fries if you get it," stuff like that, right? And so
Crazy.
they're making it so ridiculous that unless one has in their eyes some type of cognitive issue,
Mhm.
okay, that it should bring up enough red flags within the human that they say, "No, what? I'm not going to do that. That's kind of
Mhm.
odd there, right?"
Mhm. Mhm.
And they're almost purposely doing that for that reason, right?
Ah.
And so, so for example, right?
I did pull it up, so whenever you're ready, I'll bring it on the screen.
Okay, you could do it right now.
Okay.
So let's say the rotavirus vaccine, right? Of course, we know there's many vaccines that people get as children.
Hey, Tony,
As
can we
oh,
can we kind of speak in code because we're also on YouTube and they
oh,
will try to demonetize us if we uh,
I
say
got you.
the V word. I don't know how we can say it. Can we
Okay,
say? Yeah. Okay.
so we know that there's many reasons that people do get these. Okay, whether it be just as children, it seems as being forced in a way, right, to leave
Mhm.
the hospitals. Okay, which that's a whole nother subject.
Yeah,
And
and if you don't allow them, excuse me, if you don't allow them to give them to your children, they will call CPS on you and have
yes,
them investigated and or take your child.
yes, 100%, 100%. I know personally about that, right?
Mm.
So, um, so that's number one. Number two, whether go to school or sometime maybe for, whether it be school, primary or secondary, whether it be jobs later on, whatever it may be, right?
Yeah.
So one would feel that they're forced to do this, but really they're not because there's always other options. Now, those options you may not want. Those options may mean you have to work less or work more.
Mm.
Okay, but there's always, at least in a the way the reality has been created, okay, and whether humans have done this, whether it's again a universal law where they have to have the not necessarily, well, let's say a remedy or something that just negates what they're doing, it has to be also presented. Okay, so let's say
Okay.
if disease is out, the cure is also out somewhere. Okay,
Mhm. Mhm.
so
Mhm.
so with that, for example, when we look into side effects here, so off of this one
Mm. Mm. Mm.
based on this one so-called solution, right now the remedy to this entirely is just to make sure that the child or the person's hands are clean, make sure that they
Mhm.
don't orally come in contact with fecal matter. Okay, that's
Okay.
that's actually the solution. Okay,
Wow.
but the in which this is known. This is what I'm saying is known. They know it. This is not anything special at all. But
Okay.
they say, well, because it may happen anyway. So now we're talking about fear.
Mm.
Okay, that's how a lot of things happen through fear, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And so through fear, one will take this, and now they have potentially all of these issues that may happen. Some of the more common issues that can happen if one takes this is diarrhea, earaches,
Mm,
fever, headaches, irritability, muscle aches, nausea and vomiting,
mm,
pain or cramping in the abdomen or stomach, sore throat, stuffy or runny nose, unusual tiredness or weakness. So
mm,
so I, for
mm,
example, took something that's supposed to help me from this one thing, but now I have at the
mm.
very least here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5,
Right.
6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 now issues that can
Mm,
possibly happen off the one, right?
mm.
When the solution to the one, or remedy to the one was just don't put fecal matter in my mouth, or you know what I'm saying, you get what I'm saying,
Yeah,
or
yeah,
just keep
yeah.
myself clean, right?
Right,
And
right,
so,
right.
so less common chest tightness, cough, running a noisy breathing, trouble breathing, and rare uh confusion, of course, the stool issue there, decrease urination, dizziness, dry mouth, fainting. So
Mm.
seizures and so on and so forth, right?
Jesus.
So
Mercy.
so they're literally telling, and they have even other more serious things here. So
Mm,
they're literally telling you
mm.
in every single one of the ones of through the childhood schedule, which is over a dozen. I think it's like 2 dozen at this point. I have over here. So they're showing you, okay, almost in a way, you will be a fool to take this.
Yeah.
Okay. And only how they get us to take us through, mostly through fear.
Fear.
Right?
Yes.
Because what you don't want to get it when you're 20, 30 years old, because if you get it then, it could be serious. It could be life threatening. Right.
Yeah.
And in fact, that we actually are taking, even of course, I say that we're actually taking the disease within us. Somebody, again, an anti-human or alien will come on, mostly anti-humans will say, no, see, it's a weakened version of it.
Mm.
But it's still a version of the disease.
Yes.
Right. And one will be putting this within ourselves, right? So that
Mm,
means that you have willingly, for
mm,
whatever reason, giving yourself the actual disease. Okay.
mm.
And of course, this is in the case if it's actually just this. We have really no idea what's in this stuff.
Right.
You know,
Right.
we're seeing what they're telling us from it, and it seems that they're forthcoming, but who knows what other sprinkles of whatever they put in there as well. So of course this leads to challenges later on in life. So
Yeah.
when it comes to ourselves, right? So some of the same basic um it's the same basic things that we should be doing, all of us, just period anyway, right? We should be
Yeah.
eating the best that we can. We should be drinking the best water that we can. We
Mm,
should practice meditation. Uh, we should allow ourselves time away from social media and being bombarded with thought forms and so on and so forth, right? And again,
mm,
this is what everyone should do, regardless of this, right?
mhm,
One should exercise, right? It's not about necessarily weightlifting, even though
mm.
one could do that as well. It's more so
Okay.
about getting your blood pumping, right? And allowing, because the blood pumps not just like a pump, it's actually like a Vortexian spin as well. The
Mm.
chambers of the heart, if one dissects the heart and pull them away, it doesn't, it pulls away in a almost like a circular fashion, right? So
Yeah.
when the heart pumps, it's actually pumping like a circular or Vortexian uh, push throughout your body, right?
Okay.
So with that, um, we want to keep our blood flowing, right? And we want to keep our heart strong, right? So
Okay.
doing cardio, introducing light spice in our food, not enough spice to hurt,
Mm.
create ulcers or anything like that, but
Okay.
just enough spice that we keep introducing it in our food, because spice is an excellent blood cleanser. Okay, amongst other herbs like burdock root and so on and so forth as well, right? So so pretty much what we're talking about here is what I call the excretion factor. Okay,
Mm. Okay.
excretion. Okay,
Okay.
and so regardless of if one has put something in them willingly or not, all right, or is there something's going on, we want to excrete as
Mm.
much as possible, right? How do we excrete normally, right? We excrete through our sweat, right?
Right.
We
Right.
excrete through, or a part of our excretion is urination and
Mm.
defecation, right? And so this is all part of that process, right?
Mm.
We also shed skin. Okay, our skin is also shedding all the time, right? This is part of that excretion factor. Okay, and
Yes.
so we want to increase this excretion factor. It's
Okay.
extremely important. again, once you avoid this stuff anyway, right? But again, we get to
Yeah.
the point where, okay, maybe you couldn't for whatever reason. We have a few products that um, may help one with certain challenges. Okay.
Okay. Mhm.
Uh, One of them, for example, is one we created here called alkaline vibrations.
Where
Okay.
can I find that, Tony?
It's one of the links I sent you.
Okay. Hold on. Let me get out of that one.
I could resend it to you through the
I
private.
got them up. I do have them up. One alkaline vibrations. I have them all up. 1 minute. Let me see if I. Oh,
Mhm.
yep. I see it.
Yep. So alkaline vibrations is an excellent product. During the time of what was going on, and due to the community calling us and having these conversations and having these consultations, right? Uh, we say from the natural world, what can kind of just help our process, help us be just stronger, help us be more pure in the way we are, right? And
Hmm.
so this was created, which is alkaline vibrations,
Okay.
and many. This is a very popular product. Okay,
Mhm.
so it does go out of stock from time to time,
Okay.
and so it can help with some of those challenges. Okay, one of the other products that was created was one called Be Well.
Okay. I'll
Okay,
bring that up in a minute. Now that alkaline vibrations, that was tea.
that was tea. Hmm.
Okay. With lavender, I noticed.
Yeah, so it's an excellent product. It helps with it's geared toward our blood, okay,
Mhm.
to help with flow and to uh, just help with cleanliness. Let's just say, okay.
Okay.
There's another one called Be Well.
Okay.
Okay, Be Well is an excellent one because it was created when one feels that
I don't see it.
they are. Oh, let me see
Be
here.
well. Be well. What's is that one? Let's see. That's not the Corella or that's no. I have the Corella Spirella. I don't think I see the Be well.
Okay,
I'm sure you sent it to me, but I don't see it.
I'm about to send over a link here. One
Okay.
moment here. And so Be Well is excellent. Again, it was created for if one feels that they're about to come down with something,
Mm.
or they have, right? This is so strong that it's not meant to be taken like how you would take like drink green tea every day kind of thing, okay? Or something like that. This is not made to be like this. Made for you use it uh, for the period of time that you need it, and then from that point you put it up on the shelf, okay,
Okay.
and just in a store in an airtight container and just keep it there until the next time that need comes up. So, for example, it has golden seal in it, it has echinacea, okay, and many has elderberries, actual elder, not elderberry powder, actual elderberry. So you actually see the berries in it and stuff like that as well. So it has some very powerful herbs in this product for our well-being. Okay, and so in many of the herbs and things that we take, I take myself, right? So you don't take everything; you take what you need for the time being that you need it.
Thank you, Tony. Before we get to that, I want to say thank you so much to Osiris the God who sent us a super chat. He sent us a love offering. Thank you so much. And while I'm speaking about super chats, Tony, I know people can order products from the Meta Center um, and use the coupon code, but is there a way they can also give offerings if they would like to?
Yeah, if they choose to do that, we do have a Cash App.
Okay.
That Cash App is money sign Meta META 2020. And whether people buying products, booking services, and whatever it may be, everything goes toward what we do. Whether it be right now, I'm planning. We do for those who don't know, yearly we do educational field trips. Okay,
Mhm.
and so they're very family friendly. Okay, for adults and children. And so right now I'm planning our 2024 excursions. All right, and so
Yeah.
I will say on the website, you will see a calendar of events. Take the time to look at that.
Okay.
So the right now it's again still in the works, but I don't want to say and give anybody anything out right now. But in the next mini excursion will be in May or June this year,
Okay.
and we'll be meeting at the Meta Center, getting on the bus, and taking it 2-3 hours away to experience something collectively. And
Hmm.
so that's the one thing we are high or our focus is strongly on learning, knowledge, education. And again, these are very enjoyable things, right?
Yeah,
Whether
sounds fun.
yeah, whether we learning about let's say crystals or whatever it may be, right? But actually really learning from it from, let's say, a geologist or something like that. Whether we are going to beekeepers, whether we are just traveling the realm, learning about archaeology. Okay. Again, going a bit deeper and being a bit more knowledgeable with it than just, uh, just being layman's and the same thing.
Yes,
So, you know what I'm saying? And how
you
to
get to
utilize these
experience
products.
it.
Right. Get to experience these
Yeah,
things.
yeah.
Right. And so, and you with people who are literally filling in on the same exact
Mhm.
path. It's Meta 2020.
Oh, it's
Uh,
Meta. Oh, okay, thank you. It's Cash App,
yep. Money
Meta.
sign Meta 2020.
Oh, okay, thank
Yep.
you.
You're welcome. So yeah, so and of course, everybody who's on this trip with you, whatever trips that we do, is on the same or similar path as you, right? Everybody's looking to learn and enjoy themselves and so on and so forth. And so we
Mhm.
had some just fantastic experiences over the last 8 years.
Oops,
Absolutely
oops, I'm
fantastic.
sorry. I'm trying to get rid of that. So I'm sorry, darling. Here it is. You said Meta 2020.
Yes.
There we go. Okay. Right?
Yep. Yep. That's correct.
And so you were talking to me about that experience that's going to happen around the spring or early summer, going to the
Hmm.
beekeepers, and you said it's your hope that people will be able to actually sample the honey, the different types of honey. Yeah.
Yes, honey, royal jelly, bee propolis, which these are all products that bees create. Okay, and they have different
Mm,
benefits for humans. Okay,
okay.
and so again, we love learning, right? I love learning because I'm learning along with you. It's not like I know everything about all of these things, right? Uh,
Right.
and so I'm there learning with you. I'm there with you, sampling these experiences. We be doing sweat lodges, just all types of experiences that not only create community, but also help us become stronger versions of who we are. Right, pushing our, pushing past our personal limits that we have maybe put on ourselves
Mm,
to evolve into that superhuman version of ourselves.
yes.
Mhm.
Yeah. So if we take these products, after you talk about how we can address the sickness that shut down the world, then can we look at the website and look at the different products that you have? Um,
Sure. Hmm.
Because my thought is if we take these products or the ones that align with us, we can move on closer to the God part of that diagram that you showed us.
Yes, most
Okay.
definitely.
And help our inner vortex to spin properly, as you would say it.
100%.
Okay.
Yep. Through that, through knowledge,
Okay.
wisdom, and understanding, right? In all of
Mhm.
our processes,
Okay.
again, spiritual, emotional, mentally, physically. So, like, I'm going to draw a diagram here, right? So, some people have seen this who came out to, because we do again many types of classes, and we were in Atlanta in 2022, September 2022, and we had a psychic class there, right?
Mm,
And
mm.
so we were learning about our abilities, right?
Okay. I'm gonna take this down for a minute so we can see you as you talk to us and let me know when it's time to bring it back up.
Okay.
Be well, T. Okay.
Okay. And so, okay. So here you see a triangle, right? So I'm trying to make this as simple as possible, right? So you see a
Okay.
triangle there, and the triangle, each point, one point is uh, mental, other one's physical, the other one's spiritual, right?
Mhm, mhm.
So when it comes to overall our internal vortex,
Yes.
we want all these points operating how it should, right? And so, and when we do, let's say it creates the internal spin, right? But let's say, for example, right, if one's spiritual system or actions and mental, their mind is not operating correctly, then more than likely their physical is going to fail. Okay.
Mhm.
So if their physical is not operating correctly and their spiritual also is not operating correctly, then more than likely their mind state is going to have trouble, right? But also the opposite, right? If you're looking at yourself right now and you say, okay, well, I'm physically fit. I'm good. Okay.
Okay.
And I'm spiritually in tune, right? So
Mhm.
then more than likely, then it would be easier for you to get your mind right.
Mm.
Okay. And so on and so forth. So we could do this many different examples, but so on and so forth, right? So to keep it as simple as possible. Now, of course, for everybody, maybe a little bit different. When it comes to the physical, that's one of the easiest aspects there,
Yeah.
right? So, for example, stop eating fried food. You know what I'm saying? Stop eating fried food. If you drink, if you alcohol is poison. Okay.
Mm.
So if you taking shots every day and things of this nature,
Mm.
stop. Now, of
Mm.
course, easier said than done for someone who may be addicted to those processes, but still, the solution is really simple though. Stop.
Mm.
Right. And
Mm.
so when it comes to the physical, again, of all of these, that's one of the easiest
Mhm.
aspects, right? Then when it
Okay.
comes to the the mental, right? Getting our
Yeah.
mind right. A lot of times what I've noticed in all the years I've been doing what I'm doing, the better aspect when it comes to the mentality, our mind, is to first do away with those things that are disturbing the mind.
Okay.
Okay. If you are allowing certain practices, like for example, or watching certain TV shows, uh,
Mm.
watching certain movies and so on and so forth, listening to certain types of music, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
A human, why would a human want to listen to music that is overabundance of the music, the lyrics in the music talking about harming
Mm.
humans that look like them or are them or their family and so on and so forth. That doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
Okay. Why would a
Yeah.
person want to do that? And even though we may like the beat and so on and so forth,
Mhm.
the lyrics behind it are actually disturbing our subconscious mind. Okay.
Mm.
Which leads to over time conscious distress. And we
Wow.
wonder why we're facing or having this distress. Okay. It's
Okay.
because of the music you're listening to.
Mm.
Okay. So we have to, so when it comes to physical first, it's very easy to address. Okay. It's very straightforward overall. There's been many people who have been obese who have come to the medical center who over 300 pounds, 350, 400 pounds. They
Yeah.
were tired. See, it's come to a point where you're tired of it. Okay. Because
Mm.
what I'm saying, I know works. I've been doing this for a long time. Okay.
Yeah.
But
Mm.
if you're not tired of
Mm.
the situation that you may be living, then you're not, that means you're not more than likely going to be ready to change. Okay.
Right.
You have to be truly tired of the situation, truly tired of feeling the way you're feeling, truly tired of
Mhm.
maybe hitting a brick wall, right?
Mm.
And say, you know what? I'm tired of this. I am truly ready to change. I need to change now. Okay.
Yeah.
And the
Yeah.
thing at that point is that you may lack the knowledge of just what you need to do.
Okay.
Okay. And we're most definitely here to help. So when it comes again to the mental, it becomes much the easiest part of that is to do away with music, TV, do away with hearing people talk
Mm.
negative about you.
Mm.
Okay. If someone's talking, we're not talking about uh
Yeah.
righteous criticism. Okay, sometimes
Okay.
you do need to be criticized, especially if you're being criticized from someone who means you well. Okay,
Yes.
you know they mean you well. If you say, no, honestly, does this person who's criticizing you mean
Mm.
you well? Yes or no? Right. And if you honestly could say, well, hey, that person loves me or cares for me and stuff like that, then
Yeah.
you know they mean you well. It's not meant to necessarily, even though being checked on our ignorance can
Mm.
cause us a little bit of uh, immediate distress because who
Yeah.
wants to be checked on it? But you know that person means you well, so it's leading to maybe long term better health and wellness and so on and so forth. Okay.
Absolutely.
Now, spiritual is a different spiritual. I would say is
Yeah.
more of the more difficult aspect to address,
Mhm.
and
Mhm.
just because there's so many corrupted systems out here,
Yeah.
so many not only corrupted systems but corrupted people who are doing it for whatever
Mm.
purpose they're doing it for. Some are doing it for money. Some are doing it because they just love the fact they looked at it as a god, okay, in a
Mm.
certain sense, right? Because they're the one who has the connection to God, okay, and you have to go all right, and you have to go through them to 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 have that connection or to get what you need to learn or whatever it may be. When if you have a soul, if you are a human with a soul, okay, again, you have a range, right? You have heaven and hell that you can access, okay? And within you, okay, is the ability, hopefully you didn't turn it off due to
Mm.
indoctrination, due to just doing the wrong thing over your lifespan.
Mm.
But if it's there, then you have the ability to connect. Okay, it's there. Okay, maybe you need to learn a way to meditate. Okay, maybe you need to kind of get your physical body back in action a bit, right? So your internal vortex could spin a bit better, right? So there may be things you may need to do, but that connection is there, and especially in
Mm,
times where, for example, prayer is okay, meditation is excellent. Everything else, prayer is like again, directed internal thought, right, toward
okay.
something, right, or even
Yes,
as a
yes.
reference towards something, and that is a we could call a spiritual technology, right? Prayer is a
Right.
spiritual technology, and these are things that most people on the planet, most human people on the planet, deploy some form of that. Okay,
Yes,
some form
yes,
of prayer, right?
yes.
And so these are actions that we all can literally they don't cost us anything. Okay, it doesn't cost you anything to just sit back and say, you know what, to really look at our lives, especially if things are a bit out of balance, right?
Mhm,
To
mhm.
look at our lives and to not only meditate on ourselves and our actions and the world around us, but also pray for a better day, right? To
Yeah.
pray for better signs or for the knowledge and wisdom and maybe even understanding to take you or us to the next level, right? So we have many some of the services that we offer as well are data based, okay? Because
Mm,
again, I am in the science technology field. I like to use my data points, okay, along with some astrological points and things of this nature to help predict certain things, right? Or help
mm.
guide one. So we have many different types of charts on the website.
Okay.
But one of them specifically that I think is extremely important for this year in particular, okay, going forward is the chart called Solar Manifestation.
Okay.
All right. So
You sent that to me?
I think I sent you that one as well.
So Tony, you talked about the be well. Did you talk about that one?
Yes.
Okay. So now we're talking about, let me ask you this.
Mhm.
I can tell when a person can tell when they're physically out of balance or out of
Mhm.
control, or they have physical disease and mental disease. But what does spiritual disease present like? That, the lack of connection to source or to a higher being or to your ancestors. What does that look like? And how will you know if you're out of balance
S-
spiritually?
Some of the let's just say in some cases unneeded or unwanted aggression toward you.
Mm,
Now some people get unwanted or unneeded aggression um just because for example, if you are in a den of demons and you're an angel, let's say, or saint, then you're going to get unneeded aggression. You get what I'm saying?
yeah.
But we're not talking about in those extreme circumstances. Some
Okay.
people get unneeded aggression just off the sake of being unneeded. And of course,
Mm.
uh if you can, because
That's not it.
that's one of them, but it's a 1 year report.
Oh, sorry.
Go to the
Okay.
website, yeah. But so unneeded aggression and um in one's life, right?
Hmm, hmm.
Um People treating you wrong or right, and there's no obvious reason for them doing that. All right. Like you haven't done
Mm.
anything to this person at all to treat you bad at
Yeah.
all. You don't even know them. Okay. But yet you find that people are treating you in a very negative way.
Okay.
Okay. We also like, of course, we want the opposite. We want people treating us in a good way, right? But
Yeah.
even that is a form of just on the better half of that. Okay.
Okay.
And so uh, yeah, so there's a lot of different ways that it
Okay.
expresses itself
Okay.
spiritually, right?
Okay.
And so I would just be careful on who you listen to.
Okay.
Our philosophy here is go within. Okay, it's not
Mhm.
going within because you say you are a god and everything begins and ends with you and things of this nature. Because that gets into all type of other egoisms and everything else, right? But but if one is kind of confused, I would start just kind of go back to basics, almost like you are a child being born here again, right? And
Mhm.
then from that point, what is it that you actually believe? What's truth and not truth? There's truth in many things
Mhm.
around
Okay.
us, but there's also a lot of lies in everything around us too, right?
Okay.
Go
Yes.
with in a way in a world that's highly purposely being confused like that. Okay, uh, if you are tuned enough, your physical is tuned, your mental is tuned, and if
Mhm.
anything, you clean your spiritual slate, right?
Mm.
Then from that point, one's vortex should be running enough, right? Um, your microorganisms that were within your gut, right?
Mm.
Because you're eating properly, should be functioning properly because your mind, your greater mind, is in actually your gut. Okay.
Mhm.
And so that's that feeling we get sometimes, that gut feeling. Okay.
Yeah,
That's where it
yeah.
comes from, right? And so though, so you should have your gut feeling should be operating
Mm.
a bit more effectively.
Yes.
Okay. And
Yes.
so then you should be able to have a better opportunity, better chances at if something doesn't feel right,
Mhm.
okay, or something
Mhm.
does, which will lead you in that direction. Don't be afraid to say no. Don't be afraid to be like, okay, I thought this felt right. It was
You're
human
right.
direction, but now it doesn't feel right. And so I'm going to
Mhm.
step away for a moment. Okay. Don't be afraid of that, especially because your soul is at stake here, right? It's that important. Everything around you is trying to defile that. All right. So if everything around you is trying to defile that, many ancient civilizations have talked about something about a human, something that's embedded within us that is extremely powerful, and the world is going to try its best to defile it. Okay, then it might be something very special about us. I mean,
Mm.
maybe, okay, and if it is, and now some would say the anti-humans, the aliens, and there's some people who want
Mhm.
to be divisive will say, "Oh, it's nothing special about us." All right, no, we could easily take that route, and if we take that route, then we could easily say, okay, dude, we just walk a different path, and that's just that. It's over with. We don't have to think about it anymore. All right.
Mhm. Mhm.
But what if there is something special about us?
Mm.
Okay. So now that leads to other kinds of thought forms. All right.
Mhm.
And so I think we should be focusing more on that. So going to the solar manifestation, right?
Can you send that to me
Yeah,
again?
sure, sure. Okay, yeah, I'm sending it right now. Here.
You were talking about that, and I was like, sometimes your intuition will tell you, "I thought this was right, but it's not." And so you walk away, and other people might not understand or overstand why you have left certain spiritual systems, why you have left certain relationships, or just moved away from it or changed the nature of it. But it really could be because internally you feel like it's run its course.
Most
Uh,
certainly.
Yeah.
Most certainly. So I'm sending you two links here. One is to the
Okay.
astro, one is to the solar manifestation, the other one's to
Okay.
astro business. Okay.
Okay. Yes.
So
I'll bring
this
it.
year, everyone, I would say this year, regardless if it's from us or you have your own ways of doing what you do, um, try to
So the manifestations.
be as healthy as possible, right? In a different ways, right? Mentally, all right,
Mhm.
physically, spiritually, right? Um, try to do more activities that lessen stress. Okay, of course, exercise does that. Meditation does that, and so on and so forth. Being out in nature does that. Hugging trees does that, right? Playing with animals does that. Okay, so
Mhm.
especially like dogs. Okay,
Hmm.
so uh,
Is this it? Excuse me.
yes, that's it there.
Okay.
Okay. So solar manifestation, with that one is it pretty much using the data that we have and we have collected over quite some time. All right, along with astrological points, helps to uh, give some data points with your specific life. Okay, over a course of a year. All right. Many people, this is very popular, and many people have been getting it from us for many years now.
Mm.
And so I would say this year and next year are extremely important for people to kind of have somewhat of a framework of what may happen or what may give you a framework that you can work within to kind of prepare for certain things, okay, for
Okay.
oneself. Okay, so that's the solar manifestation. It takes
Mm.
about, let's be aware, it takes anywhere from 5 days to about 5 to 10 days, depending upon how many people we have ahead of you to complete. And the other one is called astro business. Astro business is very similar, but it's for your business.
Can
Okay.
you explain to me, like, what is this? It's like a chart based on your year you were born, or what is it exactly?
Yes, it's a astrological chart
Okay.
mingled with our worldly data points. Okay, we collect
Okay.
data from many different sources. Okay, and so we're
Okay.
co-mingling the two to give certain give like an analysis of your life in relation
Mm.
to what the data shows.
Wow. Wow. Thank you.
And
And
so the solar manifestation is more so for our personal life, right?
okay.
Where the astral business is more so again, it's business focused.
Okay.
Okay. And that one is about a 3-month forecast, right? So for those of you who are in
Mhm.
business, of course, we know what's happening around us. If you are in business, there's ups and
Yeah.
downs,
Yeah.
especially there's an active effort by the anti-humans and aliens to dismantle the middle class. Okay.
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
which is not a good thing at all. This goes more into a kind of a feudal society where there's just those who are the lords of the lands like that and above, and then you have the serfs.
Mhm.
Okay, so like that would be
Sorry
like
about that.
the let's say the upper class, right?
Okay.
Or also the wealthy class, let's say above the upper class, right? That class, and then
Mhm.
it would be, let's say, just the working class, nothing
Mhm.
in between. Okay, and so because there's an active effort for that, you want to
I got to
you
get
want
back to it. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
okay, you want all of the just all the tips, tricks. You want all of the know-how that you can have for you to be able to operate how you need to operate, right?
Oh, wow.
Um, and
I've
so
never
that way,
heard of anything like this. It's amazing. Excuse me.
yeah, we try to bring services and things that we feel the community needs.
Mhm.
Again, of course, the community finds benefit because we're here and we continue to grow. Okay,
Yeah.
so the community finds benefit in what we do. We don't discriminate or anything like that. We
Mhm.
don't like divisive language. We don't deal with any of that.
Mhm.
We want higher thought forms, right? We want higher thought forms. We want you being extremely successful in what you do. Why? Because that means that you'll support us more.
Yes.
I mean, just think about that, right? You know what I'm saying? Yes, I have an active, I mean, let's be clear here, right? I
Okay.
have, I have purposeful intent, okay, for you to be as successful as you can be. You know what I'm saying?
Mm,
Because
mm,
because in me having that purposeful intent, because if you come with consultations and your triumphs and or your troubles, right? And we're talking about these things, right? And we're helping to figure out what's going on, and you become the best person that you can be, right? And
mm,
extra successful in who you can be, that
mm.
means literally you're going to support us more. Okay. That means that you have found us so worthwhile that you do all types of things that those people have been doing behind the scenes. So shout out to everybody who does do those things, right? Which allows us to help others, which allows us, we do feed the homeless, we do all types of things. It allows us to do more of that, allows us to do more field trips.
That's awesome.
It allows these things, right? And so again, so don't, you know, as Kia did that wonderful intro in the beginning, right? Um, it's a reciprocation of energy.
Mm,
Okay, it's not just you pointing into us or me just pointing to you. And me pointing to you, I expect the reciprocation of energy. I expect you to be happy that you are in a higher state, that things are going so wonderful. I want to make sure that we use all of our data to try our best to make sure that you are knowledgeable in what you're doing so that you can make those proper steps, right? And that's why we offer free consultation. We also pay consultations too, but we also free consultations, right? So if you let's say can't afford it, the paid ones, you could do the free ones, right?
that's
So that you can
amazing.
get to that higher state that you can be in, right? So that maybe when we have a big project going on, because there's many projects we have behind the scenes, right?
Okay.
That we have a project going on, you could be one of those people that say, you know what, I got you, right?
Mm,
I appreciate you the way you appreciate me. And it creates that, again, that exchange, right? That equivalent
yes.
exchange. And we just keep in that what I call the feedback loop.
Let me ask you about the business projections.
Mhm.
You by looking at our astrology, you can project the profits, things that we need to be doing, and I don't know what else to help us grow our business. Because I'm
Yes.
actually why because I've been censored a lot because of the things that we talk about, and when I tell you they cut my income, like the censors from censorship, from having my YouTube channels cut off, LinkedIn. Social media, I'm censored on Facebook right now. I can't like connect with my groups. And it's happened to many people as
Mhm.
well as people having to file bankruptcy. So this is personal. I feel it. You can actually project using the tools that you have what we need to be doing and the profits and strategies we need to implement.
Yes, 100%.
Gosh, that's amazing.
So that we can be the best that we can be. Especially because he's been on the website for years at this point,
Okay.
And so again, we have vested interests. We are here because of the community. If the community did not support us, we literally would not be here.
Mm.
Okay. So yeah. And so
This is Tony. I studied humanistic psychology in my undergrad degree studies. And one of the things that humanistic psychologist Abraham Maslow talked about is self-actualization. And he says you can maximize who you are as an individual. In When you become self-actualized and you reach your potential as a human, your maximum potential, then you go into transition. What do you call it? Transcendence, where you help others self-actualize. So I see you being the person that's highly self-actualized that has reached transcendence. And now you're helping us to reach our maximum potential. That is phenomenal and amazing that the services that you offer help us in every aspect of our lives. Thank you.
thank
That's
you.
You're welcome.
And again, this is the reason why we do this, because these are concerns and things that you have. And we keep bringing new services and products and stuff all the time. Whatever services, whatever challenges that may have in your life and stuff like that, we try to bring about those solutions if we're able to. We have, just to throw it out there as well, February 10th, we have an event here at the Meta Center. It will be virtual. Let me see. I think I sent you the link to that, but let me see the link here.
Patrick says, Dr. Kia, I feel like I've been shadow banned in my business and my personal life as well. I would implore you to reach out to Tony and see how he can help you address those issues. I feel you. I've been there too. I feel what you're saying, Patrick. Please reach out to Tony. And they targeted us. They targeted our family members. And when my husband, my former husband, before he transcended, was very, very ill, and he was transitioning. And of course, I have some thoughts as to whether or not they did things to him when he was in the hospital, like putting him on a ventilator against my wishes, even though I said they should not. They wouldn't allow us to see him. So they did certain things to like try to keep family members away from each other, and keeping you away from your family member when that's sick or that's transitioning is wicked. I know that's not a human thing. I know there are extra beings, or I don't know, some kind of non-human beings behind that. And so I was able to fight them to get to him and, spend time with him before he transitioned. But that did something to me psychologically and emotionally. So when you talk about being shadow banned professionally, I get it, Patrick. I get it. Censored, you keep your mouth closed, prevent you from moving forward. However, I'm so grateful that Tony talked about sovereignty, because now that we know we have reign and rule and control of our own lives, all we have to do is search for those solutions. I'm sorry, Tony.
Oh, no, most definitely, 100%. And this goes into the aspect of being human.
Yeah.
I sent you a link to.
Okay.
The event there. So, but this goes into the aspect of being human. Do not be afraid. Fear is a heck of a thing, and once fear is, 'cause that's also something that is more of a spiritual / mental disease. Okay, and once it's embedded within a person, it runs its course, and it could be devastating over a person's lifetime. So
I'm gonna get it.
it's an amazing thing to be human. Okay, and being human, don't be afraid to express your humanity. Right, you'd be surprised who needs to hear it. Okay.
Okay.
Also, even talking about even the elders, the grandmas and grandpas out there. Okay. Uh, you've lived a long life. You have, especially if you've been paying attention. Okay, I'm sure many on this podcast have been paying attention to life and stuff like that. Otherwise, this wouldn't resonate at all. You have a lot that you can share, and you have a lot that you could just encourage about people, because you've seen things that have come before. Okay, and so don't be afraid to do that. Right? Don't be afraid to express
Thank you.
who you are, how you are. Don't be afraid to express the maybe the nonsense that you're seeing that needs to be corrected. Don't be afraid to express those things that lead to triumph that you have seen time and time again that may have been forgotten. Okay, so this class here is an upcoming class, February 10th. It's called Herbal Resilience Amongst Chaos, right? And what it overall deals with is, if we only allow 15 people in the Meta Center itself, okay? But it is virtual as well. So you could come to the Meta Center or be virtual. But what it deals with is for, if there was a grid down scenario, right? And what I consider or define as a grid down scenario is a scenario where electricity is cut off for whatever reason. Okay,
Okay.
so we don't have electricity, and anything that, of course, comes from that, which is pretty much everything, right? Internet, there's no internet. All these things are down, right?
Mm.
We see chaos happening around us, and so on and so forth. And the only thing that you have is let's say, a home full of herbs. All right, you got
Mhm.
all different types of herbs at home, right? But what can you do with this? Okay, if a person has a headache, what herb will help with that? What
Mhm.
herb will help if one person has feeling a bit of nausea? Okay, what herbs are better for those who uh, may have a slight infection taking place of some sort. Okay, and what herbs are good for eating. Okay, are
Mhm.
more so nutritional based. Okay, that can be a so this is what we're going to be talking about over that course of the day. Uh,
Okay.
we're also going to have in the beginning a kakaya ceremony. Just we're going to be drinking for those who haven't had
Mm.
real kakaya. Think of it like hot chocolate in a way. Okay,
Mm.
but it has kind of psychoactive qualities. Okay, you
Okay.
actually feel it in your head, and you feel very energetic and focused. It's an absolutely wonderful feeling.
The kakaya. That's not okay. I don't think I have that one. And you did send that to me. Where is it?
I sent you an image of this ceremony itself. I'm gonna actually send you an image of
Okay.
the kakaya page on the website.
You were talking about a grid down scenario. It's very. It could happen. It's very. I don't want to say likely, but possible because just on January the 11th, you saw computer outages all across the nation, which grounded flights. So people
Mm-hmm.
couldn't fly due to a computer outage. So these outages, I don't know why they would happen. Rolling blackouts do occur.
Mm-hmm.
Let me see where you are. I see you, Tony.
Mm-hmm.
See
Mm-hmm.
this here. Okay, I'm gonna bring it up for you. How long have you been doing this, Tony?
Oh, for decades.
Hmm. You
Yeah.
don't look that old. You've been doing this for decades. You
Yeah.
told us the last time that you were middle age, yes?
Yeah. In my 40s. Mm-hmm.
That's amazing. You don't look like it. And I would say that has to be because your inner vortex is spinning correctly.
That's correct. Right. Right. That's what I would say. Yeah.
Look at this gentleman. Does he look like he's in his 40s? Like, really? We need these services. Okay, here we are. Is this it?
Yeah, that's ceremonial grade cacao. Okay, and so you can spice it up with, make it more like tasting like a hot chocolate specifically.
Mm, okay.
Uh, by itself, it's very bitter. Okay,
Mm,
but overall in its natural form, it's taken that way. Maybe just a little bit of spice in it.
mm,
But I do tend to make it a little bit more desirable, like a hot chocolate. You can put some marshmallows or something in it if you want that.
mm,
But the benefits you literally feel when you say if someone says I feel balance or I feel the well being from this herb or whatever product or it may be, this product
mm.
does that.
I'm glad you brought this up because one of our family members said here that coffee is poison. Let me see if I can find your comment. Thank you for bringing that up. I used to be addicted to coffee. I loved it. Just something about it just made me feel upbeat. But what I noticed, the side effects from the coffees that I was drinking, it could have been the kind I was drinking, was that I became very anxious if I didn't have it, nervous. So I would start to have sweats and all of those symptoms that I have from being a woman of a certain age, hormonal imbalances, I noticed that they were stronger, more pronounced. Like this night sweats were more pronounced. The anxiety was a high level, and I had to stop drinking coffee in order to balance out my emotions. So, can you speak to that, Tony? Is there something in the coffee that we're drinking that's not working for our benefit?
Many cultures have been drinking coffee for who knows how long, right? And
Yeah,
it's part of
yeah,
their culture. Okay. And
okay,
so
yeah.
there's many varieties of coffee, so I would not say just a blanket fact that they're
Okay.
all poisonous. Okay, because
Yes.
that's most definitely not the case.
And
Okay,
I love Ethiopian coffee. I have to say, I can feel my body do something good when I drink Ethiopian coffee,
yeah,
to your point.
there it is, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
But coffee itself, you don't want to be. A lot of people drink coffee for the caffeinated reasons of that, right? To keep them up and so on and so forth. And
Hmm.
so I would just say that the way overall that coffee is grown, okay, it has a lot of toxins and myotoxins within it, okay?
Mm.
And so because of that, overall, I would stay away from coffee, okay? Just
Okay.
because
Okay.
it's known to, unless it's traced all the way to its source and tested, every batch is tested kind of thing, and everything else, then you're more than likely consuming some type of toxin that you wouldn't
Mm.
want to consume, okay? A
Mhm.
better alternative, and this is why we put this on the website, right? Because of the coffee drinkers, okay? On the website, we have organic black tea with bergamot, okay?
Oh, thank you.
And so what okay, so every blue moon, I may drink coffee myself, okay?
Mhm.
And I
Mhm.
drink it more so just for the you talking about, some Starbucks macchiato stuff, right? So it's more so a sweet, tasty kind of thing happening, right?
Yeah.
Overall, I don't like coffee, okay?
Mhm.
The with people that feeling that people think they'll get from coffee,
Mhm.
which is again, it's the caffeine, so on so forth, what I really think they're seeking is what black tea with bergamot gives. I'm going to send you a link to this. Okay. When you actually drink it, you actually feel it like in your frontal cortex. Okay.
Mm.
Meaning like the front of your head. You actually feel like the focus in the front of your head. Okay. You actually feel um, like,
Wow.
like you want to get up and get the day going, but it's because of the black tea itself, but not necessarily because of the caffeine, because the caffeine levels are lower than in many coffees that one would drink.
Okay. Thank you, Tony. I'm bringing that up, but before I bring it up on the screen, I want or share it with our audience. I want to tell Sister Yolanda Kaufman, thank you so much for the offering. She gave us a super sticker for $10. I really appreciate you. We are very grateful. Thank you so much. Now let's bring up this tea.
And I hope earlier today, through the
Mhm.
conversation, if there was just so much kind of flooding through my mind that
Yeah.
that one I had some notes here and everything that I wanted to express. So hopefully everybody was
Mm.
able to follow all the way through, uh,
Yeah.
even though it's kind of moving kind of fast and kind of over the place a little bit.
No, it's you're on point. I think it's going very well. You're on point. We needed all of this. And if there's more you desire to share, we are here for it.
So that's black tea with bergamot. Again, it's
Okay.
organic. It's very most our products are we try to keep them very reasonably priced.
Okay.
Okay, and
Okay.
so you get again 4 ounces of it, and
Mhm.
so this is a much healthier alternative
Hmm.
to drinking coffee.
Yeah, that bergamot is delicious. I've had bergamot in I think it's Earl Grey. I think Earl Grey might is that Earl Grey
Hmm.
has bergamot? Okay,
Hmm.
yeah. So this tea here, does it come in a way you can just add it to water or do you need to do something to it?
Yeah, this is leaf, a loose leaf.
Okay.
You'll just add it to your strainer, let's say,
Okay.
and
Okay.
pour hot water over it. Let it steep
Okay.
for 5-10 minutes, and then take it out.
Sounds delicious. Thank you. Now, Tony, can we take a look at your website?
Hmm.
Unless there was something else you wanted to mention.
Sure. Hmm.
Okay. Yeah, I wanted to look at your website because you offer so many things that will help us in our ascension. I always talk about ascension because Dr. Delbert Blair taught us many years ago that the planet was ascending, that the planet was getting rid of all of the filth, chaos, and um, even bad genetics or different things. I don't want to say bad genetics, but just different entities that were here as she was evolving, and so we would evolve with the planet. So I'm thinking, or I know that he and you have left certain products for us to help in that ascension process. Is that correct the way I'm saying it, or can you modify what I said to maybe fit what he said more correctly?
Well, yes. When it comes to, you are correct. Okay, and so
Okay.
when it comes to, of course, it's a dual effort. One has to do the work too. Okay,
Okay.
so in just taking a pill, if one thinks that, it's not going to happen. Okay, so
Mhm.
one is doing the work for the internal vortex, right? Again, right? You're doing the spiritual work. You're doing the mental work. You're doing the physical work, right? But
Okay.
along with that, there are many products that can help. Again, we talk about the data points, the astrological mixing with the data points, those can help
Mhm.
with very specific processes. Okay, we have the herbs as well. We have many wellness services. We have many all types of equipment in here. We're getting more equipment in that can help one like almost go into a psychedelic state without taking a
Mhm.
psychedelic. Okay. And so we have all different types of technologies in here that we're bringing in or working on and stuff like that to help one become the best version of themselves. Um,
Mm.
so the website is very large. We have over 200
Oh my
products on the
God.
website. As you see, they're going through from the different teas.
You got specialty, yeah, alkaline vibrations, be well. Oh my beautiful curves. You were talking to me about the My Beautiful Curve tea yesterday. Can you tell the audience what that one's about?
That one, that one's for women, and it helps with their curves, right? That's the
Mm,
reason why it was created. Yes, herbs can help with that as well. If
that's
this
amazing.
product is drunk the way it says on the
Mm,
label, okay.
mhm,
And so, but many women purchase this and they drink it as like a herbal multivitamin kind of thing. Okay, they
mm,
drink it once a day for that, and so it's an excellent product. A lot of women take it because it helps with their sustain their weight. So a lot of women
mm,
who may be on the slimmer side, many
mhm.
of them drink this product because it keeps them at uh, a better or reasonable weight that they prefer. Okay.
Okay. Somebody wants, I'm gonna get back to that, but somebody asked a question, Brother Tony, and that is, I can't see it. Do you ship to Canada?
Yes.
Oh,
Yes.
awesome.
Mhm, mhm.
Okay. Okay. Let me get back to your screen.
We ship to most countries in the world. So.
Okay. Hold on 1 minute. Oh, that's awesome. And they can also use the code that we have, Dr. Kia 2024.
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
Mhm. That code will give you all 11% off. So Dr. Key is generous enough to give you all that percentage off of your order. So 11% off your order.
Thank you so much. So, okay, here we have, they have new arrivals, coupons, deals, new arrivals, teas, different herbs. And you see all of these, like, wow.
And also, if you see there, if you see concerns,
Concern.
so
Okay, yeah.
yeah, so concerns, that one there. Now it looks different on mobile versus how it looks here on the
Oh,
desktop that you're on. But
okay.
um, concerns is based on what person's concern may be. Right? Are you
Mm,
looking for something like body systems, specifically herbs that deal with the cardiovascular system or digestive
mm,
system? And it's going to give you all the herbs that we have, or products and services, both that we have that address that. Okay, as you
mm.
see, environmental concerns, growing food. So there's
That's
many
right.
areas here. Of course, we have different seeds as well. We have
Seeds,
we
and
bring mhm, mhm.
excuse me, and you said that these seeds were heirloom seeds. Yes.
Heirloom. Yes. So this is
And
mhm, mhm. So this is before being, let's say, genetically modified, right? So this
okay.
is like the original seeds and things that our people would have consumed. Um, foods our people would have consumed
Mm,
before they were altered. Okay, and so we change up the variety periodically. Okay,
mm.
and of course, based on what you all ask of us, we bring in different types as well, and we grow these ourselves. Okay, so
Wow.
again, the things that you see on the website, the products and services, I, community, family, friends utilize all of this as well.
You grow this in Chicago?
Yeah, through using greenhouses and indoors and
Okay.
stuff. Yeah. Hmm.
Okay, Tony, I went to the seeds category here, and I can see that it brought up the different heirloom seeds. Can you see it on your end? Because I'm on another screen right now. Can you see that it actually, the cucumber, arugula,
Hmm.
lettuce, you
Hmm.
can see, oh, it came up. Okay. And then what are diodes here?
Diodes are deal with EMF protection. Okay, if
Okay.
for those who know about Dr. Dibble Blair, you know that he talked about this for decades. Okay, since the 70s and 80s, right?
Mhm.
So we have many different types. We categorize it in different ways. Like you have personal protection, so that's a cell phone protector. That's on your cell phone, in which I have one as well. So
Mm.
here's my cell phone here. Let's see me go back to the screen. So you should see it. Let's see here. Yeah, so you see that blue circle
Let
on the
me
cell
see.
phone there. That is a
Oh,
diode
yeah.
there.
Wow. What is
Okay.
that protecting you from again?
Well, it's limiting the EMF from the antenna location of your phone. So you will Google the internal antenna location of your phone. You'll find where your antennas are located, and some phones have two of them, so on and so forth. You try to put them as close to on that as you're able. Okay.
Wow.
Um, the what you else you have here? Of course, you have we have hats, beanie hats you could put on that have
Are this under diodes?
the EMF. Yes, it's still on the diodes.
Okay.
They have the EMF fabric in the hat itself. Okay, so you can wear that around to help protect your head there. We have phone cases, tablet cases, again, crystals. We have food plates. We have seat cushions, which will also be doubled as a pillow. Of course, we have pyramids. Even here at the center, we have the orgone pyramids everywhere around here as well. Of course, we have also mattress pads too that could go on your bed.
Yeah, I remember Dr. Delbert Blair saying that there was some kind of mechanism in the mattresses
Mm-hmm.
that emit some type of electromagnetic frequencies. I thought that was wild.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna say my favorite for last, but go ahead.
Yep. So I would say when it comes to some of the diode products,
Yeah.
because pretty much after when the whole shutdown was happening, some of our supplies, there's some very specific technologies that we utilize for those,
Mhm.
and pretty much it's becoming harder and harder to get at this point. Okay, and
Mm.
so the mattress pads, the diode mattress pads specifically, do go out of stock for quite some time,
Okay.
from time to time. So just be aware of that. Um, of course, the monatomics. So many of you know about the monatomics at this point, right?
Hold
Uh,
on, hold on, hold on. I want to say that one for last. Okay.
okay, okay.
What about magnets?
Magnets are typically in the alternative wellness spaces. Magnets are known for a few different things, right? They're known for uh, decreasing inflammation,
Mhm.
decreasing pain, increasing circulation. Okay,
Okay.
so we have many different magnetic products. We have insoles. Like right now, here at the center, I wear my Croc house shoes at the center, right?
Mhm,
So
mhm.
like here, let me move
I
this
wanna
right here.
see.
So I'll show you all. So in my Croc house shoes here, this insole here,
Hold on, I'm bring it back up. Let me see.
this
Oh,
is a magnetic insole, okay? And so
okay.
that there are magnets embedded in this, okay? And
Mm.
so I have it in my kind of my Crocs here that I wear on my feet here. So I wear these all day. I have them in multiple pair of shoes. And so like I said, so again,
Mm.
I use the same exact products that you are utilizing as well. And
Mm.
so we have insoles, we have bracelets, we have rings, magnetic rings. We have, of course,
Mm.
magnetic products that go over certain body parts like knees, back braces, and stuff like that. If you have knee pain, it could potentially bring you relief. If you have back pain, wearing the back wrap could potentially bring you relief. It's brought a lot of people relief. Okay. Of course,
I
we have
see
the
the copper ring too. What does copper do for the body?
a lot of people who suffer from arthritis tend to find benefit with that, with
Okay.
copper based products.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
Okay.
Uh, and so we have the block magnet. Block
You
magnets
said
typically use not only people spot with that, like they put on different areas of the body, but people do what's called magnetic water, right? And they'll put
mm.
their water jug on the block magnet. Okay, let's see if I can. Yeah, I have one here I can show you for example.
Okay.
I have to be careful not to put this anywhere near the computer because it will damage your computers and stuff like
Okay.
that. But here is the block magnet. See, that's a really large block.
Wow.
This is a magnet. Okay, it's a
Okay.
large magnet. All right.
Mm.
So
Now, what does it do to your when you put your cups on it?
a lot of people put their cups or jugs of water on it. Okay,
Okay.
to it's in the wellness spaces and alternative spaces for magnetic water. Okay, and
Mhm.
so they utilize it for that. Um, again, most of these products, like especially most of the monatomics, the magnets and the diodes, these are original concepts from Dr. Dibble Blair.
Mhm.
Okay, we may have extended the line more, but those
Mm.
are original concepts that Dr. Blair's been talking about for since like in the 70s, 80s.
Mm. Yeah.
Of course, we have some fashion things, fashions, t-shirts and mugs and hats and all those kind of things there. The services are a large list of our services that we do offer. There's many more than this, but when you search the website, you'll find them. But again, the light and sound therapy, the different
Ooh.
charts that we offer, and you see, it's a lot. It's actually a lot, and so we tell people to take the time and go through the website because the website has been curated for literally you, for the
Mhm.
community, for the challenges or the triumphs that you have, things to enhance those triumphs, things to help bring one out of challenges to more of a better life and lifestyle. Okay, and so
I see you offer career advice as
yes,
well?
yes,
Wow.
especially for the young ones. So that's a free that's one of the free services that I offer for those who are below 21
Okay.
who are trying to figure out their path in life. okay, and not
Mm-hmm.
really sure what they want to do. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
it is offered as well for a few dollars for those who are above 21. Okay,
Okay.
but especially for young people, I wish when I was younger there was somebody around that I could have talked to
Yeah.
uh, who may know more than I do, who may could
Mm-hmm.
give some unbiased wisdom that could have helped me in my journey.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
so
And Tony, I see under wellness you have a bioanalyzer. I'm excited about that. You told me a little bit about that. Can you explain it to the audience?
yes, so under wellness we have light and sound therapy. I need to put iridology. We do iridology here as well, where we examine your pupils. But one of the things we also offer is bioanalyzing, which is the BASA, in which we scan your body and it brings up just any out of balance uh, things that are going on within the body. I
Mm-hmm.
just put it like that, right? And we talk about it um, and go through it so that you can become the best that you can be. Okay, so that in conjunction with, let's say, blood tests or talking to your doctor about certain things, it's on point. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
again, these are things I use myself.
Wow. And so then, so after they go through the scan, you and your team will create some type of plan to address those ailments or diseases. Yes.
The challenges that people have, we do talk about it,
Okay.
and if based on those challenges,
Hmm.
sometimes certain recommendations may be given if we were in those circumstances.
Okay. Now, this is what really turned me on about the Meta Center. When I heard Dr. Delbert Blair talk about monoatomics, and I reached out to you, I think it was a couple years ago, and asked you, I didn't know, that I knew he had passed, but I didn't know you, of course, but I reached out to the center and you responded and sent me monoatomic gold. Oh my God.
Mhm.
Can you talk about the power and the properties of the monoatomics?
So the monatomics are most definitely excellent products. And so in that category, you also have colloidals and stuff like that as well, which I get into some of those, right? So
Okay.
the monatomics we have, of course, are the original ones are the powder, capsules, and spray.
Okay.
Of course, excellent products. I serve a little bit different purpose each one, but the powder overall for the penile, the brain, for some people it enhances their focus, for others it enhances their creativity. Some
Mm,
people like to take it at nighttime for dreaming, and they
mm,
know that their dreams are really much more vivid and so on and so
mm,
forth. Okay. The concentrate is one of the newer offerings. We brought that out
okay.
uh, early last year, which is a
Mm,
stronger version of the powder. Okay.
oh, okay.
The colloidals overall are the base metals, okay, whether it be
Mm,
copper, silver, gold. Of course, we offer platinum now. We also offer combination formulas, which are gold, silver, and copper together, and so on and so forth, right? And so in
mm,
that category, you also find honeys. We have goji honey, lavender honey. Again, this is goji berries
mm.
infused with honey, lavender flowers infused
Yes.
with honey. Lucidity is a very interesting one. We made that for meditation.
Mm,
Okay. And so that's a very artisan created one there that people, when they take that, it kind of takes them to another world kind of thing.
mm.
And so
What was that one?
that one's lucidity. Lucidity.
Lucidity. Okay, I don't see that one.
It's under honey, so under monatomics,
Okay.
and you'll see honey to the left, and
Oh, I
it's
see. I see. Okay, wait a minute. Let me go back. Okay, I see it. Goji lavender. Okay, yes. Wow, I'm gonna have to try that lucidity.
yeah. So it's most definitely a very meditative one there, and so we just as we see here, go along here. Of course, events. We have many events, event calendar, and all the rest of those there. We have
Mm.
memberships. Memberships give you discounts, especially if you all are now purchasing on the Meta Center, and you get there's memberships because you a
Oh,
discount
right
also
here.
helps us
Okay.
out as well.
It's got
Uh,
reviews. Okay. Mm-hmm.
yep, yep. You can see the hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of testimonials and reviews on the reviews, and of course scheduling appointments. You can schedule all of these different types of
Mm,
appointments, whether be they're over the phone or they're at the center itself.
mm. So if a person knew that they just needed some type of assistance, and can they call you and say, Tony, I just need to do a consultation to figure out what's going on with me and how to address it? I don't have any idea, how what exactly
100%.
is going on. Said you go ahead, say it again.
I was like 100%.
You
Even if
will.
they don't know what's going
Okay.
on, right? You know what I'm saying? It's like I just know I just need to talk to somebody. What's up? Okay. And so
Yes.
we will schedule a time. And of course, they could go on the website and schedule it themselves. But if need
Okay.
be, I can schedule it. And just know for the free consultations, there are a wait list because, of course, you can imagine people all over the world
Mm,
do that. And so it's usually 30 to 45 days out. When it comes
okay.
to the paid ones, those are usually maybe 7 to 10 days out for the most part.
Okay.
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 And so, but yes, you know what I'm saying? Even if you don't know what's taking place, over how my style is, I have a
Mm,
specific style of
mm.
speaking and talking to people. And so we're trying to figure out what it is that you're trying to figure out, right?
Yeah.
Okay. And then hopefully with that, it can lead to better opportunities.
Thank you, Tony. Some of the things that you shared, I just want to show the audience quickly. You can see Tony sent me some honey infused with lavender.
Oh,
Tony, is it?
wow. It is gone. Oh, you were serious about that. Okay.
Oh my
So,
God, this is so delicious. It's hard to go back to regular honey now. It's sweet. It's but not too sweet. It's raw. I can tell it's raw honey, organic, and that lavender is very magical. I don't know what kind of alchemy that is, but I can tell you the lavender makes me feel so calm, at ease. Close your ears, Tony. Makes me feel sensual.
all right now.
So for those women who may, need a little assistance, child, that honey with the lavender in it does something to a sister. Okay. I don't know what it does to men, but it's very delicious. I drink it in my tea. Sometimes in the morning, sometime in the evening to go to bed, but I prefer it in the mornings because I work a lot and I don't want to be anxious doing podcast studying so I can present podcasts. And Tony also sent me the Lavender Dreams Lotus Salve. He said you can put this on your lymph nodes. So he said you should go and, of course, look on Google, see, because I didn't know where my lymph nodes were. And you can put on your lymph nodes at night, put them at the bottom of your feet, just a dime size, and it will calm you and help you with your dreams. Anything else I'm forgetting about that, Tony, that it
There
was?
it is. So between the two, if one has trouble getting to sleep in the first place, the lavender honey is better. If
Okay.
one is able to get to sleep and just want a deeper state of sleep, the
Mhm.
salve was better for that. But
Okay.
also the salve is there for more vivid dreaming. Okay, that's part of the
Mhm.
reason why it was created, right? So if you want your dreams to kind of be, let's say, off the chain, more vivid,
Mhm.
almost like you're living another life in a way, right? Like it
Mhm.
becomes so vivid that it's almost like, was I just there? Like living a whole kind of life
Yes.
experience.
Yes.
The lavender dream salve is more so for that.
That's amazing. And then this is, like I said, the first thing I've ever tried through the Meta Center, the monoatomic gold. And this is the different version from what you used to have. I like this one better, Tony. It's a rose gold color. You probably can't see it from here, but it actually has flakes in it. Flakes and they sparkle. The way I take it, Tony, is I take like maybe a little less than a fourth of a teaspoon. I don't know how much to use, honestly. Put it under
Mhm,
my tongue.
mhm.
And I've noticed that again, when you reach a certain age, your libido kind of goes through some things in your home. You have hormonal inflections. Child, stay away from some mother's son if you take this, okay? Because he gonna get the business. All right. He gonna get the business. This increases your vibrations, it raises your frequencies, it speeds up your libido, it makes you feel good. Sometimes I have to lessen it a little bit because I'm also a vegan and sometimes I do a raw fruit diet, which makes my libido go off the charts. So if I'm doing my fruit diet, fruit only, and I'm taking this, I have to come back on it a little bit because you're talking about like you will feel like you're in your 20s. I kid you not. And again, I do it every day. I use this every day, but particularly when I'm doing the fruit only diet, raw fruit, I feel amazing. I don't know what this is, but many scientists have said it is the manna that the children of Israel ate when they were in the wilderness, coming out of slavery, going into the promised land. The manna that the Most High sent down for them to eat for their time period in wilderness. And they also say this is what the pharaohs ingested in order to connect to the higher realms and to source and to live longer. So this here is manna, according to some scientists. Anything you want to add to that, Tony?
You said it. You most definitely said it. Yeah.
And then the colloidal is something that I took during 2020 because silver actually attacks the V word, virus, on contact is what I read about. And so I took colloidal silver. Actually, I took colloidal silver, gold, and copper, and platinum, I think it was. But specifically, silver is what I offered to my grandchildren and my family members. And we were able to not get sick or as sick as other people. So, Tony, you've given us so much information in these 2 hours. I know you're very busy. You're a blessing to our soul family and to the community. I don't want to take up too much of your time, but is there anything else that you would like to offer us before we wrap up?
At this time, we did most definitely was on here for quite a while, and we did talk about many different subjects. So, I would just leave you with take care of yourself.
Okay.
Right. I mean, that's extremely important, right? Take care of yourself. Limit the stressors that you may be causing to yourself or your environment itself is causing, right? Limit the stressors of the TV and so on and so forth. Try to become more human, more of what you can truly be. All right. And I'm sure, I'm positive there will be positive results from this.
Absolutely. Tony, where can people find your work?
Metacenterchicago.com. You'll find all types of articles up there for, most of the stuff doesn't cost you anything. Okay. So we have tons of articles about health and wellness. Also get into some of those articles, get into all different types of spiritual and kind of awareness topics as well for those who are into that, kind of deeper learning when it comes to metaphysics and stuff like that. You'll find that as well. We are located in Oak Lawn, which is a suburb outside of the city of Chicago. Again, we're here. We're a phone call away. We have many services. We have many classes happening and so forth. So literally, we're just waiting on you. That's what it comes down to.
And you're also on YouTube. Let me see if I can pull that up. Are you active on YouTube, Tony?
Yes.
Okay. This is I call him Dr. Tony's website, youtube.com/@metacenter. This is what it looks like. Follow him, please. And I am subscribed, but not here on this channel. I have many other channels. It's on my sister counselor channel. So I am subscribed, Tony. And that's about it, family. Please utilize the services that he has. He's helping us to evolve and helping us to ascend to higher states of consciousness and to move towards the fifth dimension and above. So there are dimensions above 5 that he's helping us to ascend to. So without any more, any further ado, any questions? I don't see any more questions. I just want to say thank you, Tony, very much for all that you've offered us. Thank you for your time. Thank you for your services. Thank you for loving humanity as much as you do. We appreciate you so much.
Thank you so much, Kia. And audience.
And so he has to go, but let me show you his Cash App. Anybody want to send a Cash App or a blessing to him, then it's just Meta, that $ Meta 2020. We love you, family. Take care. Go out and make this a great day. Bye-bye.